himself and his legacy in Penny Hardaway style in football on the football field. Let's hope he does. Now that I'm not putting that. I don't want to put that pressure on him. I guess I already did. I didn't mean to. I'm not doing that. But wouldn't it be great to have that first superstar? He 3 years for the Tigers, or 2 years as a starter, a year learning, 2 years as a starter, blockbuster success, on to the NFL, and have that kind of, or just have a great college career, as it looks like that. That's all that Brady White had. It's all that Riley Ferguson had. It's now, sadly, all that Paxton Lynch was able to enjoy. But if he just did that, and being a local product, because I don't care where you are or what sport it is, there's something about the fan base that really identifies with that person. That he's from that same zip code, or a zip code or two away. I mean, right there in the neighborhood. It just does. With all the Alabama success, I guarantee you those fans, they've had 3 Heisman Trophy winners. They're ready for that first Heisman Trophy winner produced by the state of Alabama. They haven't had that yet. Wherever it is. The Ole Miss player, the Mississippi State player, the Arkansas player, a Louisiana product for LSU, and keep your mitts off Arch Manning. You don't get to have him. But really good news today. Tevin Carter has committed to the University of Memphis. Today at Rivals, he was ranked 17th overall in the state of Tennessee, number 2 quarterback, the only quarterback in the state ahead of him at Rivals. Ty Simpson from Martin Westview, that is committed to go to Alabama.
Yeah. And this is, you talked about it a little bit. This is just huge. And I think what you were talking about just a second ago about how fans are going to rally around the hometown kid, I think this is even bigger than that, just because I think Memphis fans have kind of almost accepted that of, okay, well, if it's a high 3-star, low 4-star guy like Tevin Carter is, they're going to go to the SEC schools because they're all around us and they love recruiting this area. And this is a kid who had offers to Ole Miss. He had offers to Mississippi State. Everywhere. I think his top 4 was Memphis, Ole Miss, Georgia Tech, and Texas A&M. And I think Tennessee had just gotten kicked out. This is a kid who he said he was going to go to Georgia Tech. And for Memphis to be able to get a kid like this to stay home, I think fans are going to rally around him like crazy.
I do too. And winning is the number one marketing plan in sports. But you win with a local product. That just does something for people, and it's great news for Ryan Silverfield.
Yeah.
Jumping in on the Penny Hardaway parade with everybody now heavily predicting Amani Bates is going to be a Tiger.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's big too. We've seen ever since he announced his top 4 and his that he was going to reclassify, it's kind of been quiet on that front. He did a great job. We talked about Jalen Durham last week. Not a lot of people knew where Jalen Durham was going to go for the longest time. And Amani Bates has kind of done the same thing, but now it's starting to look like Memphis is starting to get traction from a lot of national guys, and that's huge.
Yeah, just very, very good comparison. Very good comparison, Bryant. And so Durham announced Friday, 5:30 or so. Well, on Wednesday out at the golf tournament, people that know a lot more about it than I do, just honestly, candidly, were saying, 80% really felt good. By Friday morning, it was 99.9. It feels like that's the way it's trending for Amani Bates. That whatever percentage it was on Monday, it's higher today, and by announcement time, that could come at any second.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's going to be the Tigers. Almost will be a crusher if it's not.
Yeah, it would be a crusher. I think today, seeing all these national guys go towards Memphis, I think that's big for kind of the hopes of Memphis fans, because I think you saw there was a lot of speculation when he announced it. Oh, in the next couple of days, he's right behind Duran. He's going to commit right behind him. And then it kind of dragged out a little longer. People were saying, well, Oregon's in there. Maybe Oregon's picking up some steam. Maybe the G League's picking up some steam. I think some people those hopes kind of went down a little bit as time passed. But I think now, with these guys logging those crystal balls, I think it's shooting back up.
Yeah, all the crystal balls. I looked into my crystal ball, and you know what I saw?
What'd you see?
A goldfish. That's all I ever see in my crystal ball. But last week, I was a little bit in disbelief that the news would go rat-a-tat-tat on Rashid, Duran, Bates. Still waiting, I think, mostly paperwork, clerical type stuff, on Rashid Wallace to be formally named an assistant. I think it'll be done, so that counts, check. sure counted check with Jalen Duren. And I know these youngsters, and I don't blame them. They like and they've worked hard for their share of the spotlight.
Yeah. And I think
I don't mind that.
No, I don't mind that either. And I think that's a big thing of what I haven't liked with the way social media is going now. You see a lot of these national analysts and reporters, they try to get it out there before the kid does. Let the kid have his moment. Let him have that night where he gets to go out and announce it to the world. So I think he's trying to make sure he gets it right. I think he might be trying to set up something with maybe like we saw Duran setting up something with ESPN, with SportsCenter. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, and I don't mind the rush to be first. I know those guys work hard. I've said many times about the recruiting industry. I would not want to do it. I don't keep up with it that avidly, but I do respect how they do it, to live at those gyms and live at those practice facilities and those stadiums and ballparks and fields like they do, and the enthusiasm that they cover it with. I mean, I think one of the happier sports reporters groupings, they are the recruiting types.
Mm-hmm.
They have all the names and hometowns down, and boy, right when I get all the names and hometowns down, the next year comes along and it changes, and I can't keep up with it fast enough. I do know this about Tevin Carter from going to Rivals today. That makes the Tigers now 67th at Rivals, but that will move up. But more importantly, and I always say this about Tiger recruiting, that never mind that national rank. Where are you ranked in the AAC? Well, currently, even with the Carter addition, now ranked 5th in the AAC. Cincinnati 1, Central Florida 2, SMU 3, and Navy 4. Now, Navy always, they jump out there and they get kind of that number right now because they're not limited to a class size. They can sign, I think they can sign as many as they want to, can't they, because of
I believe so.
What they do, you going to Annapolis, going to the Naval Academy, that will recede. SMU at 3, the job on the field, off the field, and the PR dynamic by Sonny Dykes is apparent. And most of the national recruiting guys in a current top 4, 5, 6 for Arch Manning has SMU in it.
Really?
That he loved his visit. Has friends that are there and really liked his time at Highland Park. At SMU.
They're doing something special down at SMU. I mean, we've seen them. They've gotten a couple 5-stars to commit. I actually have a buddy who goes down there.
Once upon a time, we know what they did.
Oh, yeah, well.
I'm kidding, SMU friends. I'm kidding.
But I have a buddy who goes down there, and he said he's never seen it like this. The excitement around the program, it's special what they're doing down there.
And it is a special, beautiful campus. It is where they play. Mostly rebuilt stadium on campus. They were so smart to get away from trying to play. Back with the Pony Express, they were playing at Texas Stadium where the Cowboys play. There's no need for them to go all the way to Jerry's World and try to play. They even tried to, when they rebooted football, they tried to play some at the Cotton Bowl. Ole Miss played down there in a wild game one year, and then the on-campus stadium was being a man by the name of Gerald Ford, not the former president, but Texas oil and banking magnate. If you're a magnate, that means you've made a lot of money. If you ever have magnate or industrialist in any introduction, you've done really, really well. And Gerald Ford gave them a bunch of money, and now it's Gerald Ford Stadium, and always has been, just very distinguished academically and a great vibe and fun place to go to school. I've known a lot of people through the years that have gone there. I've never been to a game on campus there. I did see Arkansas and SMU play at Texas Stadium. Boy, this is flag the tape alert for Drew Barrett. I thank you, Drew, so much. In one of the great games of all time in 1982, guess what the final score was, Brian?
What was the final score?
17-17. That sounds really old.
Yeah, it really does.
For somebody to enjoy a 17-17 game. But I did that day, and it felt like a loss for Arkansas. And back in the day of a tie, one always felt a little better than the other one did about it. And nobody left with the same feeling. Nobody, heck, we both went like at the Olympics when they split the medal a few weeks ago. Nobody ever left with that feeling. Somebody left feeling like they had won. And that day, it felt like SMU kind of escaped with the tie. and Arkansas had a loss. But we've got a lot to discuss today. We always visit with TJ Reeves from Tampa Bay Buccaneer Radio and all things, everything. We touch it all with TJ. He'll visit with us about 3:30. Golf picks at 4 o'clock, as it seems very futile now to catch Team Young. The collaboration of three people against one individual team, which right there is patently unfair. But we'll do golf picks with John going about 4 o'clock. The business of sport conversation that we have every Wednesday with Rick Harrow continues today in about an hour and 14 minutes. At 4:45, and this ended up being a harder assignment than I thought it would be. Inspired from the weekend at the Pro Football Hall of Fame that we all watched and enjoyed. 10 players today, 10 players playing in the NFL today that are a slam dunk for Canton. Well, the first three were really easy. After that, very difficult, and I didn't know how to factor in Adrian Peterson and Frank Gore because I don't think they are currently on a roster, are they?
I'll have to look it up. I'm looking it up right now. I'm not positive.
If they are, if they play a second this year, they're on the list and they're going in. Frank Gore, number 3, 4 all-time rushing?
Yeah.
I mean, way up there. And Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson's not. He's a free agent right now.
That's what I think the same for Frank Gore. 16 years in the NFL for Frank Gore, 14 for Adrian Peterson. So we'll do that list at 4:45. At 5 o'clock, a good friend of mine, she covers Ole Miss as well, if not better, than anybody I know. And I know a lot of people that cover Ole Miss, including me. But this person we're going to have with us at 5 o'clock, she is extraordinary. Evie Van Pelt will join us. She's from rebelwalk.com. We'll talk about Ole Miss and the expectations for them this year. And I think, again, with anything injury being relative, I don't know when they're going to come. Let's just say Ole Miss is 100% healthy this year. I think there's a trading range of about 6-6 of a low side, and with injuries, but I don't know when they're coming. Maybe even worse than that if the injury bug really was devastating, to a high point of 9-3. It is a wide trading range for Ole Miss. It's not just me saying that. That's what everybody's saying. I mentioned yesterday that so many people are picking them to be the dark horse that they're no longer the dark horse anymore. So we'll visit with Evie Van Pelt at 5 o'clock. And at 5:30, catch up on all the news of the day with what's trending. And at 5:45, we will have Taco Bell crunch time. Dave is off until next Monday. Gabe Coon's off until next Monday. Bryant Dacus pulling the long shifts with John Harden and with me. We appreciate him for that. I love talking about FanDuel, and for FanDuel, baseball, it is going to return to its roots August 12th, tomorrow night, when Chicago and New York, when they play in the cornfields of Iowa. Make the most out of this historic game with FanDuel's $5 Field of Dingers. Just bet $25 on a same-game parlay with at least 3 legs to unlock a $5 bonus for every home run hit during the game. Build your parlay any way you'd like. Home runs, strikeouts, money line. Just have fun with it tomorrow night. Brett Norsworthy for FanDuel. So lock in your parlay and be part of history on August 12th. If you haven't tried FanDuel Sportsbook yet, new users can place your first bet risk-free. That's right, new users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today and use promo code CASH so they know we sent you. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Minimum bet $25, max bonus $35. First online real money wager for risk-free bet. Refund and bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. After receipt, restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Will be fun tomorrow night for that game. Weather, you must cooperate tomorrow night. This hour of our show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity August sales event before football gets started sales event. Great offers on all 2021 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 901-362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
As we wait on the Amani Bates decision, if he signs, then it would be the best incoming class in Tigers history. Will be no doubt about it. Bigger than anything ever. And whether he stays 1 or 2 years or 3 or 4 years, we know in college basketball now, and a little bit in college football, this is all 1-year hitches. Nobody's signing a 30-year mortgage anymore. You're not having that scrappy freshman class that goes 17 and 14, and then as a group of sophomores and a little addition here, and they improve to 21 and 12, and then 28 and 3, and then in their senior year they try to go and win it. No, everything's 1-year hitches, year to year across college basketball for the bigger teams and even some of the smaller ones now, that they're losing players to the transfer. They're transferring other places. That upperclassman at Davidson wants to go somewhere else. Last year, Michigan had the good point guard that came in from Lehigh, somewhere rather anonymous, but came in to really help Michigan last year. That's what it's about around college basketball now, and to a degree in college football.
My top story of the day, Tevin Carter committing to Memphis. That's huge for Memphis. And I want to point out something that my buddy Christian Fowler put in his article today about Tevin Carter's commitment. It was a quote from Tevin Carter. It said, "The opportunities I have out here are limitless because I really want to be the hometown hero in Memphis. I'm going to bring in some high 4-star guys with me, and we're really going to continue the tradition at Memphis."
Wouldn't it be great?
It'd be great. And we were just talking last week, and you pointed out about how, those Shelby County guys, there hadn't been a quarterback that's really come out and done something. I think he could be that guy, and it looks like now he's really bought into Memphis, and he's about to put on that recruiting hat after committing. And so I think it could be a really fun recruiting class for the Tigers.
And Brian, I just wonder if he will be an early enrollee, sign in the December period, and then be out there in school and ready to go through spring in 22.
Yeah, I could see it, especially being right here in the backyard. It definitely could happen.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story, the new look Lakers really look old. Some are joking that they are the LAARP Lakers. All these players over 35, any one of those players over 35 get injured at anything resembling down the stretch of next year, well, they'll have an early ouster again from the playoffs. You let 2 get hurt in any time before the playoffs, and they may not make the playoffs, and they're really depending on one of their younger players, 28-year-old, going on 47 years old, Anthony Davis, to stay in there and be reliable, and it's not his fault, but when has he ever been?
Yeah.
He's always hurt. It's not his fault. He's never kind of just whiffed on injury. He has been injured. He's got the MRI and the X-rays to prove it and the scars to prove it, but he's always hurt. So one of your younger guys is that. With all those older guys, this could be a disaster next year for the Lakers. And if that happened, that means LeBron's probably just going to have that one in Tinseltown with that bubble asterisk by it.
Yeah, and I do think it's interesting. Obviously, these are a lot of LeBron's guys, but like you said, the age is a concern. My not top story of the day, the crystal balls continue to roll in for Amani Bates. We just talked about it earlier. I didn't see this one. Jerry Mayer put one in at 1 o'clock for the University of Memphis. I just want to go quickly through some of these guys' track records who are putting in the crystal balls for Memphis.
This is a lot of crystal and a lot of balls.
A lot of crystal and a lot of balls. Travis Branham, who is a 247 Sports basketball analysis, all-time 91.07%. He logged it for Memphis, 7 in the grading scale, 1 to 10
high. It's not 91%. I make it to 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's.
I would hope it's 90%, but hey. Then you've got
get ready with the best of if I fall out.
Yeah, well, don't leave me like that. Jerry Mayer's all-time 75.86, but this year in this class he's 85.54%, and then Eric Bossy, he is 87.72%. So the guys who are saying that he's going to come to Memphis, who are logging these crystal balls, their track record's pretty good.
That's a lot of percentages trending toward the Tigers' way, and that will be great. We are always in our Family Leisure Studios, and today I really am brick and mortar. I'm really in the Family Leisure Studio where family and fun come together. It's time to get out of the house and get by. Family Leisure, great pricing on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active. Play gyms in stock and ready for delivery. Markdowns on remaining game room products and massage chairs. Hot tubs going fast. Reserve yours now before the cold weather hits. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. 901-360-8255, our AutoZone phone line, our AutoZone text line. Hit us up at either 901-360-8255. Get in the zone at the AutoZone text line. Coming up next, we visit with TJ Reeves, and I've got a loaded question for him pretty early. I know TJ wants to talk about Coach Bobby Bowden as he has covered him and knows a lot of FSU people through the years, but we visit with TJ next.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
Golf is back, and so is Miramichi. And just like every other year, there are improvements. This beautiful golf course sits on 330 acres. It provides more than 7,400 yards of championship-level golf, and the beauty that surrounds it is absolutely amazing. And guess what is back too? It's the Miramichi patio. Totally redone, revamped bathrooms, a full service bar, and on weekends, there'll be bands. Oh, by the way, 2 TVs, and it's now open to the public. You don't even have to play golf to catch the view from the Miramichi patio. But if you do want to play some golf, have we got deals for you? Senior golf for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday down to $30. The standard weekday rates, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, as low as $32. Even on the weekends, it's under $50, and you get golf balls on the range. Play the most beautiful golf course in all of Shelby County. Go check out Miramichi.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you. At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
When it comes to tires, auto repair, and car maintenance, Gateway has it all. Gateway Tire and Service Center is here to help you with all your service and tire needs. Choose from Yokohama, Toyo, Firestone, and Michelin. The list goes on and on. We have tires for all your needs and budgets. And when it comes to service, Gateway Tire has the most experienced mechanics and state-of-the-art equipment. Come see us for any repairs, alignment, struts, air conditioner, schedule maintenance, and more, including brakes with a free brake inspection. Then take advantage of the Gateway credit card. Apply today for stress-free financing made easy with no annual fee. Ask about our 6-month deferred interest with any purchase over $149. Go to gatewaytireandservice.com for great deals and coupons. Gateway Tire and Service Center has it all for you and your family.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
At Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
Memphis's hometown airline, Southern Airways, is offering a sizzling summer deal. For this July only, flights from Memphis to Harrison-Branson, Hot Springs, and El Dorado, Arkansas have a promotional fare starting at just $19. Fly over the interstate traffic and bypass the bridge delays on one of Southern's flights to Arkansas. Catch a concert in El Dorado, hit the lake in Hot Springs, or fly to Harrison and make the easy drive to Branson or even to Fayetteville. Flying Southern is easy with no TSA screening hassles and free parking at Signature Flight Support. Don't forget, Southern service to Destin has returned for its 9th summer season. So if you're planning a trip to the Emerald Coast, visit iflysouthern.com to reserve your seats today.
At Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
TJ Reeves joins us every week at this time, and we look forward to it, and I know he's ready for preseason football to get back in a semblance of routine. The world champion, NFL champion Buccaneers host the Bengals on Saturday night. 6-point favorite if you're interested in the Buccaneers over the Bengals. We'll see how much Joe Burrow plays in that one. I think we know how much Tom Brady will play in that one. TJ Reeves, good afternoon to you, sir.
Always good to be with you, and we should say as a disclaimer on a Wednesday, if you are betting on preseason football, there is help. It's only a phone call away.
Yeah,
I'm just putting that out there.
Especially week one. No, any week in the preseason. It's a cry for help, TJ.
We got to do something for the obligation for the people. The interesting thing is everybody wants to know how much Tom Brady is or isn't going to play, and the head coach said everybody's playing, including number 12. Now, he didn't say how long. And I joked with somebody a little while ago that was asking me, you think he plays a series? I said he might play a couple of downs depending on what happens and then put Blaine Gabbert in there as the backup. I don't know. And, of course, it's unusual because nobody had a preseason game last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and they were trying to figure out when can we start the regular season? Can we do that on time? So we haven't had a preseason game yet. But I can tell you there's anticipation building to this one, and they're expecting a huge, if not sellout crowd here because the Buccaneer tickets are sold out for the year for the preseason opener with the Bungles. And whether Joe Burrow plays or not will be interesting because he's coming off that knee injury.
Yeah, devastating knee injury, and he was off to a great rookie year and showing that he really was going to matter in the NFL until that, and that might be a 2 or 3 year thing. It was shades of the Carson Palmer knee injury. Carson Palmer was already rolling with his career when he had the devastating knee injury in Cincinnati. I warned our audience that I was going to give you a tough question right out of the gate. After 1 year,
please,
one very successful year for Tom Brady, is he the number one player in Buccaneer history already?
Wow, that's a tough call because I have a special place for the Leroy Selmon, the first ever Buccaneer, the original number one overall draft pick in '76. And we lost Leroy 10 years ago, this September, 10 years ago in his early 60s. That man is the icon beyond Leroy Selmon. I think you might have to go Tom Brady right now after 1 year. Some might say John Gruden belongs in that conversation, showing up and taking over the roster and infusing the offense and leading the team to a Super Bowl in his first season as the coach. Right, he's the coach, and you said Monty Kiffin with the defense and Tony Dungy. But Gruden did what Brady did on the field as a coach, showing up to energize the situation and Hall of Fame defensive players. Now finally got an offense to go along with it. That's a very tough question. Good, tough question. But I would go Leroy. I don't know about you. You have affection for Leroy from the college days with Oklahoma and Barry Switzer, but I might go Leroy in front of Tom Brady.
I think the best sign out – remember when people would make their homemade signs and put them up at games? The best sign ever. It was an OU game. I don't remember who they were playing, but they showed the crowd shot and the sign read, "Thank God for Mr. and Mrs. Selmon."
Because the Selmon brothers – were there for like about 7 total years
and prolific
for Barry Switzer.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. There is still great affection to this day. Leroy Selman has passed on 10 years ago, but didn't play past like 1985. I think that was his final year, 9 years in the league. There were people 25 years later who were still adoring and fawning all over him because he was equally as loved off the field and was the fundraiser, by the way, behind the University of South Florida getting a football program here in Tampa. Leroy Selman helped them raise $5 million for the initial giving and round of donors to be able to have football and start the football program in the mid-'90s. So Leroy's got quite a legacy. The athletic facility at USF, the massive facility, is named after him. There is a statue of him there. It's tough to go against Leroy as being the guy, but I know what you're saying with Tom Brady, especially if the Buccaneers are rolling again this year, if a few months from now and have a chance at another Super Bowl. What kind of legacy does Tom Brady have in just a couple of seasons here?
Back to back would seal it. We know this week in Florida, the fond goodbye, the down memory lane, the stories of Coach Bobby Bowden, 91 years young when he passed, and what an impactful life. And I know with you doing local Tampa talk radio and in the media down there for all these years, a lot of FSU fans and a lot of opponents of Bobby Bowden, but it always felt like even Steve Spurrier needling him with free shoes in university and needling him with going to the referee meeting at the Sugar Bowl and the big rematch game, and then Spurrier didn't show and Coach Bowden did. Even Steve Spurrier, in the heat of the competition, there was a lot of respect.
Yeah, and there's been such an outpouring over the past few days. I know we talked on your show a couple of weeks ago when it was announced that he had terminal illness, and then later his son, Terry, who's now the first-year coach at Louisiana Monroe, revealed it's pancreatic cancer that eventually claimed Bobby Bowden at 91 years of age. What a legacy, though, for this man. And we cannot overstate putting Florida State on the map back 40 years ago. I know we're going 40 years in time, but to hear the stories recounted, and I get the privilege. It is a privilege to be around the voice of the Buccaneers, the Hall of Fame voice of the Bucs, the man that has also been the Hall of Fame voice of the Florida State Seminoles for 40 years is Gene Deckerhoff. And Gene was with Bobby Bowden every step of the way. His first year doing Florida State football was Bobby Bowden's first year at FSU in 1976. So Gene did his radio shows, did his TV shows, much the same way that Dave has always done with the Memphis Tigers shows and et cetera, famed announcer with famed coach for all of those years. And Gene tells story after story about Bobby Bowden. But the one thing I talked to him earlier this week that he keeps coming back to, he's been inundated, Gene has, with interview requests,
I bet,
is that this man would do anything for you, whoever you were. If you needed a job and he could help you get that, he would do that. If you needed food, if you were having problems at home and you needed counseling, whatever it was. And in Gene's case, as he has told this numerous times publicly, Bobby Bowden accommodated Gene Deckerhoff 35 years ago by saying, I will do my Sunday television show taping in the middle of the night so that you can get to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football games wherever they are, either in Tampa or on the road. And Gene has said, how many coaches would care enough about the announcer to say to the announcer, I'm going to let you live out your professional dream of getting to do NFL games by me sacrificing doing a television show at 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the night at the Tallahassee TV station over and over and over again. Now, the one caveat, as Gene tells it, is Florida State won all the time and won a bunch. So they were happy TV shows and easier to do. But
I got fingers left over on the one hand of the number of coaches that would do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gene's thing was this man is beloved, and you look at the donations, the millions and millions of dollars that flowed into Florida State to donate not only for the athletic department but for the university. FSU football, this cannot be overstated, completely transformed that campus and transformed everything about that university with what he built. And it was Bowden's players, his staff with him, but it was largely Bobby Bowden and his vision. Because remember, they were an independent team for the better part of the first 15 years of him being there, having to schedule all the heavy hitters. You'll love this. I was looking at this. I believe it's the 1981 season where they played on the road at Nebraska as an independent, on the road at Ohio State, on the road at LSU, and on the road at Notre Dame in the same season.
Yikes.
Bobby Bowden didn't care. He said, we're going to play them all, and they would beat a bunch of them.
And
Brett.
it felt like
it's just amazing.
It felt like Oklahoma was also a part of the schedule because they would often run into them at the end of the year in Orange Bowls. That was almost an extended part of the schedule. He didn't dodge anyone. And I talked about it the other day, and it was a long time ago, 76, 77, 78. That the Memphis State Tigers were in a peer group very much with FSU and Virginia Tech at that time. FSU moved on from that right during that period, and Virginia Tech in the late 80s after they hired Frank Beamer. TJ, with all that, I bet it's cooled down in conference realignment conversation. Well, no, before I get to that, I want to say this that I was told about Bobby Bowden. Never mind what he raised for Fellowship of Christian Athletes in appearances and things like that. And when you say he never turned down anything, they said the signed footballs and the signed helmets and the signed photos for him to put into auctions at charity events, there's no telling the money that was raised from that.
Oh, and again, you've got tens of thousands of Florida State fans over the last 40, 50 years that will tell you story after story about personal encounters with him at games, before games, after games, at events, taking time with them, photos with their kids. His players by the dozens, by probably 200 by now, have come out to speak on his behalf about how much he cared for them after their career, looking after them in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. The man has a phenomenal legacy. We cannot overstate what he meant to Florida State's campus and football, what he meant to the rivalry with Florida and Miami, which ratcheted up when Florida State started winning games against them, made Florida State into a national power where kids from all over the country wanted to come to Tallahassee, Florida to play for Florida State. And Florida State gets into the ACC 30 years ago for one primary reason, and the success of the football program.
That's it.
So
That's it.
It's just amazing. And just real quick, and I know you want to move on, he is going to have a full week of being honored and remembered with essentially a state, lying in state at the state capitol for everybody to come and see. And then the next day on campus where they play the basketball games at the Donald Tucker Center. And then they're doing a funeral service, I believe it is Saturday, at Doak Campbell Stadium, where the public is welcomed by the thousands, and there'll probably be tens of thousands that will be there. You can't overstate the magnitude of what this is and what Bobby Bowden meant.
And I think they could do it and certainly do it respectfully. You think they'll have the spear planted at the service Saturday?
I don't know. I mean, again, that's a big part of the fabric of
it really
Florida
is,
State.
and it's really cool. I've only got to see it one time when Ole Miss played FSU in Orlando a few years ago.
And that was done with the 1,000% blessing of the Seminole tribe of Florida, and Chief Osceola and his descendants approved of that 45 years ago as something to. And they've turned it into a big honor, and I know we have all kinds of controversies on what you should or shouldn't be doing anymore, but the Seminole tribe for decades has loved and revered how they've been portrayed through Florida State, so that should be pointed out as well. But, yeah, it's amazing. And then we talked about this on your show. He is from Alabama, Samford University, and he's going to be buried in Alabama. They're going to do a service on Sunday for Bobby Bowden in Alabama, where he will eventually be buried Sunday or Monday. So, again, you cannot say enough about what that man has meant to Florida State football and putting them on the map.
And I know they're very proud of it, and they have there's a system to how you get the stickers on it. But I love FSU's helmet, and I love Ohio State's helmet on opening day before they're adorned with the Buckeyes and the decal at FSU. I think their helmet, and I remember when they didn't have that. A lot of those years in the 70s when the Tigers would play them. I love their helmet before it kind of gets cluttered up with all the decals.
I can tell you, while we tie this back to Memphis, that Thomas Reeves Sr. and I went on more than one occasion because he was a Memphis State alumni and I had not yet gone to school, but we went there 2 or 3 times in the 80s A longtime Tiger fans will remember the name Marlon Space Dog Brown. You know that name, Brett. And he was a great pass rusher. He had been in the military, if I'm not mistaken, and was like 24, 25 years old. I still remember right now talking to you, he knocked Danny McManus out on a blindside quarterback sack, and somebody from Memphis State picked up the ball, and I think my father and I were like 2 of the 12 people that were screaming and hollering because whoever it is ran 80 yards the other way for a touchdown, and suddenly it was the second half of the game, and Memphis State was only down by like a field goal after that play. So I still remember being around those Florida State-Memphis State games in the 80s when they would play each other when they were both independents. Now I feel really old on a Wednesday with you, my friend.
Well, I referenced the tie game earlier from 1982, so I topped you today.
I'm telling you, I want to say, somebody can look it up. You'll probably look it up too. The internet's a great thing. I want to say that was 85 when Marlon Brown had the fumble return and it was a close game. I don't want to talk about, because I still have been around Peter Tom Willis of Florida State, their former quarterback who still lives here in Tampa, was an FSU quarterback, not much of an NFL quarterback. Peter Tom Willis, I believe, still holds the all-time record, or at least he was the first, to throw 6 touchdown passes in the first half of a Division I game, and he did it against Memphis State my sophomore year in '89. It was coming unraveled for Chuck Stobart, and Peter Tom Willis threw 6. That was the 90. I think it might have been the 90 season, or 91. Peter Tom Willis threw 6 touchdown passes in the first half against Memphis State. We don't remember that one as much. We don't care as much about that.
All right, Coach Bowden had 2 Heisman Trophy winners, Charlie Ward and Chris Winkie, but his greatest player at FSU was Deion, wasn't it?
I think that argument can be made, yes, that Deion was the most electrifying player. Certainly Charlie Ward leads you to a national championship. So that argument, here you are with another good argument again. And Derek Brooks, who's a Tampa guy and a Super Bowl champ, Derek Brooks would probably tap on the microphone too and go, wait a minute, I was an All-American and we won national championship with me there at Florida State before he came to the NFL. But you're right, Deion was electrifying. Deion was every bit of what you would eventually see with the Atlanta Falcons and the Dallas Cowboys, et cetera, except he was doing it for Florida State football back in the day, prime time. He was a spectacular talent and player out of Fort Myers, Florida, about 2 hours south of Tampa, coming all the way up to the Panhandle in Tallahassee. And Deion is still very much affectionate. He wanted the Florida State job, Deion Sanders. When Mike Norvell got it a year and a half ago, Deion was very much involved in the process and thought he had a realistic chance to be able to get it. He's now at Jackson State, but he has great affection to this day because of Bobby Bowden and the connections to Florida State, Deion Sanders.
TJ, great stuff. Great visit with you. We'll do it again next week. Have a good time working Saturday night. I know you're going to be glad to be out there. Real quick, any restrictions on you, or is it just like it was in 2019?
As of Wednesday afternoon, now at nearly 5 p.m. Eastern Time, nearly 4 Memphis time, we are supposedly all on track to be back on the field, allowed to do the sideline gig, that kind of stuff. So I'm excited about that. Some normalcy coming back. We are going to have to socially distance between coach and player for interviews after the game. But we take it as it comes right now from week to week. Here we go with the preseason and back to going to work, Stat.
Don't we? I mean, it is day to day with the great virus, the pandemic that we're not free of. It is day to day. TJ, thank you for your time. Have a great week.
Always great to be with you, and the football back for the preseason. The college won't be far away. We're excited about all of it. Be well, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you. TJ Reeves with us every Wednesday afternoon. And I think if it's simple, if Tom Brady goes back-to-back, I mean, he will be number 1 Buck of all time. We'll have our Hall of Famers that are playing today that are surefire locks for Canton someday. And 1, 2, and 3, I think, are easy. We want yours at 901-360-8255 at the AutoZone text and phone line. We break. When we come back, we wrap up hour number 1. You're listening to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5.
Get your day off to a great start with Peter Edmonston and Anthony Sane on Sports 56 mornings. Weekdays from 7 to 10 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Taqueria Express has a new location at 6290 Winchester with family deals every day. Mouth-watering chicken tacos, only 99 cents. 3 tacos with rice, beans, and fresh guacamole, only $6. And incredible signature dishes with chicken or beef chimichangas and homemade tortillas stuffed with fresh beans, rice, and cheese on top. If you're hungry, try Taqueria Express's gigantic Macho Burrito. Homemade with fresh flour tortilla, and you choose beef, chicken, pork, or shrimp. Includes beans, rice, melted cheese, lettuce, tomato, and sour cream. Fajita fans try Taqueria's delicious chicken or steak fajitas. Big enough for 2 people and only $10. If you're thirsty and want something unique, then try Taqueria drinks made from scratch, like melon and pineapple. Margaritas are buy one, get one free, and they got a little kick to them. For real Mexican food, Taqueria Express, 6290 Winchester. We'll see you guys there, and don't forget those strong margaritas. Buy one, get one free.
Cypress View Golf and Recreation is proud to announce an amazing event happening August 14th. We are bringing in Glow Vibe Golf to run a nighttime tournament that will be unlike any seen in the area. Please visit cypressviewgolf.com and look at a short video of what to expect. Entry fees are $65 per player and include dinner with barbecue, beans, potato salad, and a drink, and 2 glow balls per player. Additional glow balls will be available to purchase on site. Come see why Cypress View Golf and Recreation is known as the best country club in the Mid-South.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
So for Major League Baseball this afternoon, Astros 5-1, bottom of the 8th over the Rockies. Dusty Baker's club 21 over 500. A few weeks ago, he had the big battle with Tony La Russa, and they go way back in heated rivalry when Dusty was on the north side, and even when Dusty was in Cincinnati, there was no love lost. And I made the comment that Tony La Russa looked at the other dugout, and he didn't mind seeing Dusty Baker.
Mm-mm.
And then I looked up what their record head-to-head against each other actually is.
What is it?
And I owe Dusty Baker an apology. It's around Splitsville.
Really?
It's like 102 to 99 currently, La Russa. No great advantage whatsoever. Now, and that's going back, them running into each other at a bunch of places. Dusty was San Francisco. I think that's probably where he made up a lot of his head-to-head against Don Tony. But I wanted to correct that because I do like Dusty Baker, But it did get heated with Tony La Russa and Dusty Baker. They lead 5-1. Tonight for the Cardinals, Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina will be battery mates for the 296 career start. That's 4th all-time of the catcher-pitcher battery combo. They're 10 games currently behind the Chicago White Sox duo, who knew, Red Farber and Ray Schalk, for 3rd. Next most frequent battery mate for Adam Wainwright, 296 going out there with Yachty. The next most frequent battery mate, Tony Cruz, 17 times. 296 to 17.
Wow.
Yachty and Adam Wainwright. Tonight, team high, 23rd start for Adam Wainwright. I picked the Cardinals when we did baseball picks. It was not my fandom talking. I ought to use that as an excuse now. It looks so bad. I picked Cardinal-Yankee World Series with the Cardinals winning it. I'm not going to have either one of them right. Yankees might get in the playoffs. Cardinals aren't. But if you'd have told me on opening day, Adam Wainwright on August 11th runs out there for the 23rd time, I would have tripled down on that prediction.
Yeah.
I would have thought, that's a key cog as the 3-4 starter.
Mm-hmm.
He's ended up having to be 1. That might be why they're not any good. Is he's had to be the number 1 starter.
I got something to do with it.
Flaherty was on his way to a big year before his injury, and he did not look right last time out at AutoZone Park.
No, he struggled a little bit. I think he looked a little better down in Springfield. They sent him down AA for his last rehab start. And we'll have to see what he looks like. I think he's starting Friday maybe for the Cardinals.
It sounds like he's going to start Friday, yes. And the Cardinals tonight in Pittsburgh, where Mike Schilt, 18-3. In his Cardinal managerial tenure against the Pirates. I bet he'd like to play the Buccos every night. It won't be many people there in that great ballpark when the Cardinals and the Pirates face each other tonight. Cardinals 56 up, 56 down with 50 to go. It'd take about a 35-15 run to make the postseason. They ain't doing it, and I use ain't to be demonstrative. When we come back, we start hour number 2, and we started with visiting with John Goen and making golf picks. That's next on Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. How old is your water heater? With most of the water heaters in the Mid-South located in the attic, the worst day you can replace your water heater is one day too late. It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. Plus, these energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. Most 10-year-old water heaters were about 65% efficient when they were new, compared to a tankless water heater from Conway Services that's up to 98% efficient. Plus, right now, get your tankless water heater from Conway Services for as low as $79 per month. Or I'll give you $250 for that old tank water heater. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. And with over 8,000 5-star reviews, Google guaranteed Conway Services will be providing great customer service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
If ever there was a time for comfort food, this is it. And there's no comfort food like Sunrise on Jefferson. Fresh-made breakfast featuring Sunrise's signature homemade square biscuits or the huge selection of hot, fresh, and fast lunch items are all part of what has always made Sunrise the most comforting of comfort foods in Memphis. Of course, everything that can be done to keep you and the staff safe at Sunrise is a top priority. And you can always order ahead and get delicious Sunrise to go. At a time this confusing, it's good to know there's one thing you can count on: Sunrise.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? If your lights seem dim, it's probably time to change them. We can help you do the job right. If you do decide to change your lights, we've got reliable replacement lights waiting for you. We've even got headlight restoration kits that can have your existing lights shining brighter. You can get whatever you need fast with our next day delivery or free same-day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
No one outfits golfers better than Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been fitting golfers since 1968. Utilizing cutting-edge fitting technology, we'll analyze your swing and our Foresight launch monitors and fit you with the perfect club, pair of shoes, the latest golf apparel, golf balls, bags, and more. So come by today for your complete custom fitting. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Dave will be back with us next week. I'll probably be relegated again to auxiliary studio with the ubiquitous green screen across the way, because we are very COVID conscious at this company, led by an esteemed medical doctor who owns this radio station. So we have followed all safety protocols. But with Dave gone this week, I have loved being back in the Family Leisure studio and feeling like I really work here instead of being at the studios high above Rose Lane and Broadway in Far City.
Yeah, and it's nice to see your face during the show. You know, I'm usually having to look through a TV to see you.
And all the hand signals and the mountain of text I'm sending you. Yeah. I bet it's a lot better. But it has been fun to be back in a kind of the old routine. I don't, there are days that I don't, especially after a long travel football weekend or something like that, I don't mind being at home. And I had a time or two. This place has been great to me. I had many times that they would allow me to do that, but because of COVID, it was a long stretch. I think I told you the other day that Monday was my first time on this side since once last fall, and only third or fourth time since like March 20th of 2020 when the world changed. And boy, did it change.
It sure did.
And that's when I was coming in with N95 mask on and gloves on, and Drew and Dave were laughing at me and making fun of me. and Dave even said, you don't need all that on. Dr. Fauci says it's not necessary. Well, that was when we were no mask.
Yeah.
And then we were masked, and then we were two masks, and now we're kind of hazmat suit. I'm just trying to follow the rules and not get sick or imperil anyone else. On Wednesday afternoon, we make golf picks and we talk golf, and we do that with our friend John Goin from Timber Trust Golf down at Olive Branch. And he was, at one time in his life, he was the pro and the manager at TPC Southwind. John, could you believe Thursday, Friday, and Saturday what those boys, and they're really good, that's what the tagline says, were doing to that golf course?
Boy, I tell you what, it was pretty impressive. Made my early week prognostication look really, really bad as far as just trying to get to double digits.
But then Sunday happened.
Well, I mean, look, it just goes to show you that in perfect, benign conditions, golf course in great shape, greens in great shape, that these guys can probably tear anything apart.
John, Thursday and Friday were a biosphere. They were playing indoors. It was cool. It was no wind. It was perfect.
And then Sunday happens, and you get some wind, and, things kind of start happening, and, it just changes kind of everything. And on that golf course, as we all know, especially when you get out there on 11 is pretty deceiving for that island green. I mean, it feels as if it's it's maybe a little bit more just straight left to right, but at times it's kind of left to right maybe, and more than likely hurting. And, as we saw both Harris English and Bryson DeChambeau hit it in the water on 11, I mean, the wind gets to swirling around there, and it gets really, really funky to try to play that golf course.
It turns into Wrigley Field.
13 plays different.
There's not a flag.
Plays different.
There aren't two flags flying in the same direction.
Yeah, and again, and hole to hole even, right? I mean, 13 wind you feel like is right to left, maybe even help a little bit, but it plays a little bit more, feel like uphill. 14, you step up there on that par 3, and if anything, you feel like it's probably right to left, maybe even down a little bit and helping, and it could be the exact opposite. It could be right to left and hurt, and it's very, very interesting. When the wind gets to get to blowing around south wind, and how much that golf course can change, and how much the wind can kind of fool you. But overall, I thought the golf course ultimately wound up holding up, and it was pretty amazing. I mean, I think I sent you a text on Sunday, with Harris in particular, that a lot of golf left to go, and the wheels seem like they're already starting to come off. So it was going to be interesting to kind of see what happened.
Man, the lug bolts got loose. Maybe the wrong baseball part comparison. Wrigley just, when it blows out, it just blows out. More old candlestick. When you could look above the stadium and two flags wouldn't be flying in the same direction in south wind. The wind really never blows out of the south at south wind.
Well, I mean, south is definitely prevailing. But again, it's that some of these holes kind of get on corners here and there, and it feels like it should be doing something, and it does something completely different once it kind of gets up there. So, and that a lot of the times when it does, the wind blows cross on a lot of holes out there. I mean, 12 would be in, but like we said on 11, 11's cross, and whether it hurts or helps. 13, 14. 15 would be in, 16's cross, 17's cross. Then the fun part is you get to 18 and it's dead down, and you can run out of real estate awfully quick. I mean, those guys with where they were hitting 3-woods at is unbelievable.
Not even real.
Oh, I mean, it's crazy. You almost think that, those guys should be hitting iron almost off of that tee box with where they're hitting 3-woods at, because clearly, some of them, the trees at the end of that fairway can, if you get too far, you can still be in the fairway and have to play a shot a little bit further left than you would want to. Now, granted, again, once you go and you start hitting that shot in, as much as the tee shot is down into 18, the second shot into 18 is much more cross left to right, which, again, you're thinking off the tee box, it's dead down. The whole obviously dog legs left, and then everything flips on you, and so you definitely can head scratch yourself there a little bit.
Sure can. John Goin talking golf with us, long time at TPC Southwind, the golf tournament. 3 years as the WGC FESJI, now on to the playoffs on the tour this week. Last regular event, and then 3 weeks of playoffs. Two start next week, starting with the 125, and then down to 75, and then the Tour Championship down to 30 at East Lake. This is a really good field for the Wyndham. And Ricky Fowler, 130th in the world, not guaranteed to be in the first weekend of playoffs unless he does something this week in Greensboro.
Yeah, and you got to think that Ricky. I mean, it's inconsistent still. I mean, we've all picked him at times with shock picks.
Well, we have
whatever
tried,
else,
haven't we?
And there's been weeks where it's been good, and there's been weeks where it's been bad. You picked him a couple weeks ago. Spectacular first round, 7 under par. Doesn't do anything the rest of the entire event. He's definitely had flashes, and for Ricky Fowler fans, I think that's got to be encouraging. But you just want to see him put together, 4 decent rounds to where you truly feel like he's maybe kind of turned a corner here and is on his way back.
Really good field at Greensboro. We'll talk more about that, and we'll get to picks in a little bit. But John, I always love it when college football releases, like Alabama and Ohio State home and home for the year 20, 36, and 37. Okay, well, that's a little like Monopoly money. And it'll eventually get here, and that, 20, 36, it's just 15 years. And, 15 years ago was just 2006. It all goes by fast. But the USGA may have topped long-term planning like something I've never seen before. Marion gets a U.S. Open. Have you seen this? Do you know the year?
I've not seen it at all. When have we launched this one into the stratosphere?
2050.
Yeah, I mean,
make your plans.
2050. There's a really good chance I'm not even around in 2050. So,
John, 2050, I guarantee you I won't be around. Marion may not be around in 2050. The city of Philadelphia may not be around in 2050.
I'll be 50 in 2050.
Bryant Dacus.
Who I'm 21 right now.
In 2050.
Yeah, it's and in today's day and age too, where. Now, granted, I mean, the USGA is ultimately trying to get back to a bit of their roots, but I mean, clearly to go all the way out, I mean, you're well over 29 years away.
Oakmont landed tournaments for 2025, 2034, 2042, and 2049.
Yeah, that's a bit of an overreach, because to your point, I mean, you just don't know. I mean, historically, those golf courses are more than likely going to be there, but I'm not sure what good that does you. I mean, clearly, you don't have a 29-year, forecast for either budgeting purposes. You're not looking to make substantial golf course renovation decisions for 29 years from now.
Will we even be able to put MSMA out in 2050?
Well, can you, in theory, even put MSMA out now in it from a golf course perspective? I mean, it's.
I got a jug of it at my house. Don't turn me into the EPA.
Well, I mean, there's a different use for you than it is for me. I think at the end of the day.
That's right. You need a little more than a jug. I literally have a jug.
Right. So, but I mean, look, it obviously is a bit laughable to reach that far out. And I mean, there's not going to be the dramatic change, like maybe some of the things that we're going through currently with college football. I mean, to have some of these games being scheduled from a football perspective, especially as you look at Texas and OU, looking to join the SEC and things along those lines. I mean, that kind of blows up, your long-term scheduling plan rather quickly. It amazes you even more, especially, as football last year made so many, rapid adjustments trying to get games scheduled just to be able to play, as to what is the use in even trying to long-term schedule anything like this. I mean, I think clearly you're looking at scheduling certain things a decade out from now, I can understand and maybe make sense of some of that from a golf perspective, because you're clearly trying to create a rotation. But again, 29 years from now, it just seems a bit ridiculous to even think that far out. I don't know what you gain by doing something like that.
Bryant, put this show in a time capsule. You save it out there in the cloud, and when 2050 gets around, I want you to remember us old men, John and I.
I will.
And I wonder this: even as young as he is now, I mean, even a guy like Colin Morikawa won't still be on tour then.
Oh, absolutely not. He'd be on the Champions Tour by then, or the Senior Tour.
Yeah,
PGA Tour champions.
So
I mean,
the USGA, boy, they're getting ahead of themselves
by then.
So back to the tournament last weekend on Sunday when we hit the crazy button, and it did go crazy. And I think it's hard to pick out the craziest event of when it got off the rails. But I think Cameron Smith with the mullet and the flat bill might have won. Have you checked with our buddy Ed Barnett to see if he's got his window fixed?
I have not. I've not heard anything from Ed or checked with him to see.
Because it went right into the grill of his backyard, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely it did. I guess always. Look, Ed's house gets enough attention with the Elvis Presley statue up on the second deck of the house there.
Yes.
The last thing he needed was a little bit more attention by Cameron Smith launching one into his backyard there. So, but yeah, it definitely got crazy from the standpoint of just, how the wheels kept coming off and especially that back nine. I mean, you just don't envision the back nine at Southwind being that challenging.
It shocked TV on the number of golf balls in the water. They ran that graphic on Saturday, and I think Jim Nance was in disbelief. They run it again on Sunday, and I think Faldo was in disbelief.
Look, they run that graphic every year. I mean, I remember even when I was there. It's comical, how often that graphic gets run for Southwind. The other part of the whole thing, though, too, is as much as you think about it, to be that far ahead of even like Sawgrass. I mean, it was like 1,300 or 1,400 golf balls more hitting the water at Southwind over the years than
light
at a
years
place
ahead.
like TPC Sawgrass, where
it's all water.
Right, balls being hit in the water there all the doggone time. But I mean, clearly, I think it just goes to show, how deceptive things can be. You get to 11, 12 off that tee box into the wind. If you hit something not real solid, you can wind up in the water there on 12, obviously 14, and then on 18. You really don't think much about the creek running across on 10. You really don't think much about 17 because guys are hitting it up. So
Beefcake's got to the water on 10. And that little bitty sliver of water on 15 gets a couple people.
Yeah, if you get the quick lefts on 15, you get in trouble, real quick off that tee box. I'm willing to bet, too, that there's probably, now that they've made what I still refer to as the absolute worst decision to remove that pine tree at the end of 3 fairway to make it easier for those guys to go at 3 and 2, you got to think there's probably a few more golf balls in the water on 2. 4 probably gets its fair shares with a front hole location there. But really, I mean, outside of that, the other one that always surprised me over the years is how many times guys can have a great round going and number 9 sneaks up and bites them as they miss the wind direction or whatever, and the ball comes up short and it spins back down that bank and it goes into the water on 9. I can't tell you how many double bogeys I've seen from guys who absolutely are, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 under par going into number 9. And they make a double on 9. Then you kind of limp to the backside trying to figure out, again, what I've kind of affectionately always referred to at Southwind as their amen corner as you get into 10, 11, and 12 there, just because, 10's tee shot is a little bit difficult into a right to left wind. And then you step up on 11 and 12, both with water, very challenging shots. And then you kind of can take a breath on 13 before you get to 14, 15, and then you kind of get a little bit of a breather there on 16 as well. So, but yeah, the water graphic is always one that
always
pops up every single year.
Always a good one. We have the collective pride in our tournament in TPC Southwind. And John, I know you have it at your place at Timber Trust. Another great summer. Before we get to picks, tell our listeners what you have down there for them. I know this is probably the driest spell since you bought the place. It's really dry, and the grass with the days being shorter, starting to cut out a smidge. But tell our listeners what they can enjoy at Timber Trust.
Well, the great part is I mean, yeah, it's probably a little bit drier, probably the driest stretch since about June of this year. We obviously went through a bit of a drought back there in 19, but golf course is actually handled the heat pretty well. Jacob has done a great job irrigating just enough. We firmly believe that dark green does not necessarily need to be our rule of thumb. I think that's what ultimately the customers enjoy. As long as they can come out, have good grass in the fairways. A lighter shade of green, a little bit drought stressed in our situation is not necessarily a bad thing. Greens and tees are all good. Actually just got an absolutely beautiful brand new fleet of Club Car Tempo golf carts. just got those in really yesterday afternoon. So you're going to have an opportunity with some upgraded features there, really, really nice plush seats and the nice steering wheels and everything. That Tempo golf cart is just an absolute pleasure to ride. And I've had people already tell me they're going to take the seats out of the golf carts and put them in their vehicles. They're that comfortable. So good tee time availability, obviously, for this upcoming weekend still. It looks like it maybe cools off a little bit here. Today's kind of the worst of it. But golf course just is in really, really good shape. Jacob Marsh has just done an impeccable job. Greens have been great. Like I said, fairways and stuff are still really good, although they are a little on the dry side. But man, you get those tour quality bounces out there. You can hit some bombs for drives. With as firm as those fairways are. So it's always fun to have, some shorter clubs and stuff in. You can call us at 662-895-3530 or visit us at timbertrustgolf.com to book your tee times for the rest of the week. And then tomorrow night, of course, we always talk about it. And last week, yet again, another carryover for the skin pot.
That's right.
For this week's two-man scramble. So there's still a little bit of availability for tomorrow night. We're gonna cap it off at 36 teams for tomorrow night, which is going to be a long night, but a fun night, I'm sure. And again, you can call us up there at 662-895-3530 to sign up for tomorrow night's two-man scramble.
Good deal, John. You mentioned that trampoline effect with it being a little dry and a little hard pan. And what that does with those drives, that gives you confidence, maybe ill-gotten, but it gives you confidence in your driver. All right, the picks for the Wyndham in Greensboro. I'll go first. I'm in dead last. I get to go first. I took him earlier this year in North Carolina. I said he was Mr. North Carolina Golf. You know what he did for me? WD that week. Don't do it to me again, Webb Simpson. Dave takes with his pick, and Mr. Robot, I don't know how he doesn't win every week, but he doesn't. He always finds a way to fade on Sunday, but Dave takes Louis Oosthuizen. John?
Well, I'm sure this is probably not the wisest pick for me to take this week, but I just think that the Wyndham in particular kind of seems to maybe be a fitting start, to continue his monumental season that he's had starting at Augusta National. And I am going to take Will Zalatoris.
Will Zalatoris. Good pick, and it looks like he's free of the injury problem. Bryant?
I think I'm going to go with Hideki Matsuyama.
I like that. He's got to get tired at some point, though, doesn't he?
That's true, yeah.
When does the jet lag hit? But he travels. He's so used to that. Maybe it doesn't afflict him like it would the non-frequent traveler like that. Around the shot picks 40 and up at OWGR, and we know the next 3 weeks it'll be any two you want because it's hard to find people with a very poor or higher OWGR. I start with Matt Kuchar. Dave takes the lefty, Brian Harman. John?
Wow, 40 and up introduces some interesting picks here. But I think I'm going to kind of stick with what my original thought was. I'm going to go with Mackenzie Hughes, number 53 in the world.
Mackenzie Hughes as the shock for John. Bryant?
Wow, this is tough. There's a lot to choose from.
I mean, Justin Rose is out there now. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are out there.
I'm going to go with Ryan Armour.
Ryan Armour to go with Hideki Matsuyama. Very good. So our picks are Webb Simpson, Matt Kuchar for me. For Dave, Louis Oosthuizen, Brian Harman. For John, Will Zalatoris, Mackenzie Hughes. And for Bryant, Hideki Matsuyama, and Ryan Armour. John, you have a great weekend. We'll visit again next week when it's playoff time.
Sounds great. We'll look forward to it. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy the golf, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, John. John going with us every Wednesday afternoon with golf talk and golf picks, and always fun. And Bryant, y'all's lead, insurmountable, I would
fun.
say.
This is all just so fun.
Y'all aren't very much fun to play with. Just came in here and dropped the house on us.
Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Hideki Matsuyama for y'all. He's got to get tired.
He's got to get tired, and it took a while for me to pick him.
Will Zalatoris at the Masters, somebody said size 28 waist. Last week in Memphis,
really?
I was looking at him. I don't believe it.
No.
Smaller.
He's
it's not
yeah.
28.
He's a very skinny guy.
He really is, and I mean gets the turn on every swing. So we got our golf picks. That's this week at Greensboro, the last regular PGA Tour event of the year, and then top 125 next week, and then top 75, and then down to the Tour Championship on Sunday of Labor Day weekend at East Lake in Atlanta. That's the weekend that I'm going to be in Atlanta for Ole Miss and Louisville, and I'm trying to get to East Lake on Sunday afternoon to catch some of that early action that Sunday afternoon for the Tour Championship. I've been to one Tour Championship ever. It was at Southern Hills in Tulsa one year, but it was more up in the fall, like in I want to say late October, last weekend in October. It was cold out there on Sunday afternoon. Had been to a Razorback game on Saturday, maybe Razorbacks in Florida, and then on Sunday went over to Tulsa for the Tour Championship, and it was cold in Tulsa. But cold in Tulsa is saying something, because one of the hottest days in my life was at the PGA there in 07 in August, and Phil Mickelson's caddy says there's two kinds of heat on the PGA Tour. Memphis heat and Tulsa heat. And we didn't have Memphis heat this year.
Oh,
no. I didn't think.
No, it was a little warm, but it wasn't anything. It could have been way worse.
Like Monday, Tuesday, and today has been. I mean, it's been much more miserable the last 3 days than it was any of the days of the golf tournament. Out there on Wednesday and Thursday was just unbelievably delightful. It just was not bad at all. When we come back, we talk the business of sport. We do that with Rick Harrow. He's up next on Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They've raised the bar again at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I like to say this is the new standard, the way car business should be done. And to prove it, out of 355 dealers in America that sell Genesis cars, the one in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, was top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, and number 2 in the district. And guess what? They want to be number 1. That means there are opportunities out there for you. It's the safest, and every new latest bit of technology that makes the experience of driving a car better, they've got it at Genesis of Olive Branch. If we start with the G70, the highest performing car I've ever owned, all the way to the G80 or the G90, the biggest of the sedans, you'll love everything about the car. If you would like to try the new SUV, the GV80, you call Vinny Gerard at 662-890-6684. He will bring it out to you.
Regions Bank presents Brad Paisley live at the Garden Friday night, August 13th at Radiance Amphitheater at Memphis Botanic Garden. Gates open at 6, show starts at 7:30 p.m. with special guests Jimmy Allen and Cameron Marlowe. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster.com. Go to liveatthegarden.com for more information. Also presented by Duncan Williams, AutoZone, Gossett Motors, True Green, Pro Show, and Mahaffey Events.
I can pop a beer in here, right? Your cousin from Boston. This here is Sam Adams Boston Lager. It's my go-to beer. Not too heavy, not too oh boy. Oh, that's whoopsie daisy. Oh no. Is there somebody that can help? Come on in the room. It poured right in the keyboard. Relax. I spill beer on my computer all the time. Sam Adams Boston Lager. The Boston Beer Company, Boston, Massachusetts. Drink responsibly.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Mid-South Hobbies has your favorite model airplanes, boats, race cars, and trains to build. With brands you know like Lionel, LGB, and a large selection of Traxxas radio-controlled trucks, cars, and boats. Mid-South Hobbies has all the accessories to make them complete, with thousands of paint colors to make them shine. Reach the sky with rockets and kites, or reach deep into your imagination with action figures, comic book superheroes, and fantasy quest games. Get passionate about your hobby at Mid-South Hobbies. 4862 Summer Avenue, open 7 days a week. Call 901-682-9402.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Thank you very much, Brian Dacus. We welcome you back in. Dave out today. I guarantee you he's losing golf balls somewhere. And we talked to somebody now that is no stranger to losing golf balls down in South FLA. That's our friend that we talk the business of sport with every week, Rick Haro. Good afternoon, my friend.
Be careful comparing me to his game. I haven't seen his game yet, but if he plays like he talks, I'll beat him like a drum.
Flag the tape, Brian. Please save that. Email it today
I will.
on the golf course.
Oh, boy. I'm going to hear that one, aren't I?
Yes,
I know.
Repeatedly, Rick Haro. Rick, you started with your notes this week, and it really struck me with Team USA ends the Tokyo Olympic Games with the most gold medals, the most total medals. Nobody during the 3-week run of the Olympics thought that would happen. Everybody thinking NBC is going to be out of business because of the ratings. None of that happened. The network for the Olympics, they go into the Olympics knowing it's probably a lost leader, don't they?
Well, of course. And look at all the primetime programming they wanted to promote. And look at what they did with Peacock, where everybody was talking about how it's a terrible thing to have the paywall there. Why are you doing it? Well, because you're trying to get subscriptions for Peacock at the end of the day. And then, everybody's talking about the lack of primetime viewership and that Mark Lazarus had a bad Olympic year, the head of NBC. Well, if you add up the people who are watching at 4:30 in the morning because they really want to watch live and Peacock and primetime, you had a pretty interesting Olympics. And it doesn't look like we're going to have that super spreader, although we still got to figure out a couple of weeks from now as the athletes return to their countries. United States did a respectable job, had some really good stories, had some incomplete stories, but we got through it, which 2.5 weeks ago nobody would have thought.
Rick, I really resent the people, and it's an easy pinata. Almost anything associated with the Olympics, whether it's the IOC, that I don't want to defend some of the things from Avery Brundage in the past, but whether it's the IOC or the host city having it, the team's performance during it, in the end, everything kind of fell out pretty okay, and it got to a completion. It did not have to be canceled.
Correct. And now it always gets the short shrift, but we got the Paralympics coming up in a few weeks, and that's in Tokyo, and it's just as important to the entire Olympic movement. And people are saying, well, now it's another couple of weeks of super spreader, and I think we're going to get through that one just fine as well. And let's remember that 5 months from now, we're doing it all over again on the winter side.
That's
Unfortunately, it's basically the same kind of time zone stuff, so we're going to know exactly what happened before we tune in. But here we go again.
I looked it up. Beijing will be the first city to ever have hosted both summer and Winter Olympic Games. I mean, there's no way Lake Placid's ever hosting a Summer Olympics. Lake Placid's never getting another Winter Olympics, are they?
No, but you have places like Denver that theoretically could, although they didn't want to commit dollars to it. But I know that Beijing is drafting hundreds of thousands of Chinese individuals to bring their ice cubes to the Central Committee because they got to figure out how to make snow.
Yeah, you got to have snow to have a Winter Olympics. I can guarantee you that. Denver was supposed to get an Olympics like in 76 or 80, weren't they?
Well, and then they were going to try to bid on the Olympics that Chicago was supposed to get. That frankly went to We had Summer Olympics 4 years ago that were 5 years ago that were supposed to be Chicago's.
Rio.
This one was supposed to be Chicago's too, but Denver was supposed to be in the U.S. mix, and we had some problems with the public sector in Denver committing to dollars. Kind of the same thing with Boston. They had an Olympic plan, but Mayor Walsh decided that it was too much of an uphill battle. And Olympics are getting harder to bid on unless you have the infrastructure already done, which of course London did, Paris
Angeles does,
basically did, and LA is going to do.
Yeah, and the rebuild of the Coliseum, if for no other reason, it's not coming out of my tax pocket. I don't live in Orange County. I don't live in L.A. County, and I want the Olympics just to redo the stadium in Los Angeles. I just think it's wonderful, and they've already spent a lot of money on it. What USC is going to be playing in this year, that's not what Pat Hayden played in.
No, clearly not, nor OJ or anybody else. But let's also remember,
I started to go with OJ with the USC comparison, but I'm just always scared to even mention
Sorry,
OJ
yeah,
now.
I know. But let's also remember that SoFi Stadium, which is opening with crowds in about 2.5 weeks, will be opening and closing, and that's a $5 billion stadium, and that's for Rams and Chargers and World Cup soccer. And Olympics in 2028, that stadium will already be 8 years old. So, good use of public funds there.
Rick, did Stan Kroenke really did all that really come out of his back pocket?
Well, it came out of other people's pockets with him taking the risk. So, he bought the land early and he made some major commitments. And, he's the one who stands to lose everything if suites and seats and other stuff don't get paid for. But let's remember the security for this, the collateral for this, are two NFL franchises. It's not like you're, going through lacrosse or cricket. This is, major established leagues with commitments for suites and seats and tickets and television revenue. But then again, it's his risk if it doesn't happen.
Rick Harrow with us talking the business of sport, and this week, a lot of NIL news breaking almost every day. The story out there that Arch Manning, I saw Darren Ravel report that Arch Manning could command up to $4 million when he is a freshman in the fall of 2023.
Yeah, we got that. It's unbelievable. We got the kid who was at Eastlake, Texas, and in Austin, now is going to Ohio State a year early for payday. You've got, friend who runs the New York State High School Athletic Association worried about eighth graders being tapped on the shoulder saying, come to my high school because we'll get you money in college for college. And you also, I can't wait for that Alabama-Miami game. I don't realize that Miami starts with a pretty tough game in Miami at Alabama. But Derek King just did a sponsorship through the Panthers with big NIL, the starting quarterback at University of Miami, coming back for his second year at Miami after Houston, against, the new $1 million quarterback from Nick Saban. So we got two NIL payday quarterbacks kicking off the season.
Isn't that something? Chasing eighth graders with NIL money and opening day, the U in Alabama, with two quarterbacks that combine 1.5-2 million they'll make before the end of this year?
Yeah, at least. And Nick Saban, listen, can you imagine 5 years ago, Nick Saban would have stood up and flaunted it, saying basically all but, if you come to Bama, you can make $1 million.
That's it. Nick Saban worked a lot of years for less than $1 million. He doesn't anymore, but at Toledo, what do you think he made at Toledo that one year he was head coach there? $150,000?
I was going to say about $300,000. I don't remember the number, but now that NIL is clear, forget your partner because he can't hear you now. And go out on your own. How much money can you make as NIL? You're all over Memphis. Everybody loves you.
You want me to go rogue?
You're dragging that albatross around. What more can you do?
This tape's going to be great to send him. This is going to be great. So you think, Bryant, we should listen to Rick and go rogue?
It's a pretty compelling argument, yes.
I think so, too.
Very compelling argument. Plus, how much easier is it to do where the guy's not around? He chose to play golf today. It's like Wally Pipp, right? So Wally Pipp
took the day off.
That's
his
right. Ankle hurt or whatever happened. When did he get back in the lineup? Decade later.
Yeah,
maybe not even.
Lou Gehrig didn't make Wally Pipp sit down, did he?
No. He didn't, but it's a great story. I mean, Wally Pipp did it on his own, right? I mean, Wally Pipp, your Wally Pipp, clearly he's not as good and he's not as fluent. He has that slow Southern drawl, but he decided not to come to work, and that's going to haunt him. You can tell him I said so.
And a great baseball segue. Through the years, we know of your friendship, relationship, and business with Gary Bettman. We know you have good relations with Roger Goodell and Adam Silver. Rick, I've never heard you talk that much about Rob Manfred. I will tell you, even before you answered, y'all may be besties. Y'all may be getting ready to go play an emergency nine. I've crushed him through the years. I think you could have put a Manchurian candidate inside mold to wreck baseball that couldn't have performed like he has, and now he's saying he wants expanded playoffs.
Yeah, well, listen, the expanded playoffs may be the right thing, but, why not extend it from last year when the expanded playoffs basically almost saved the COVID season? So we're not besties, but we do respect each other. And I've met a few times and had interviews with a few times, and he's going to kind of help with the next reissue of the book, which we'll talk about over the next few months. But he's got a couple issues short of that. He's got to get a new stadium done in Tampa. He's got to get a new stadium done in Oakland. And he's got to get labor peace resolved, too. So, he's got a lot on his plate. And I think the expanded playoffs is a great answer, but it should have happened last year and this year. Maybe if you expand it to 30 teams, my sucky, good-for-nothing Cubs who trade everybody might make it.
Boy, it's been rough the last couple nights for the Cubs. They're just so deflated. I mean, they have it's not a fair fight. They're out there trying to win with the Iowa Cubs, and the poor fans to be subject to that. Rick, I was in Nashville about a month ago and went to a game on Saturday night at First Horizon Park there in downtown Nashville. It was packed. Just the youngest crowd. I was the oldest person there by miles, and they feel certain if the Tampa Bay Rays leave that area, they have them in Nashville.
Yeah, well, and of course, everybody feels certain that they, go to Vegas, they go to Nashville, they go to Monterey, Mexico, they go to Charlotte. There are a few cities that are excited about baseball, but the real problem, and of course the Rays are saying, half season in Montreal and half season in Tampa, which a lot of people are saying is folly. But Manfred is doing the right thing, which is we're not going to allow anybody to move anywhere until we're absolutely certain we're not going to get stadiums done either in Oakland or in Tampa, because those two markets deserve to have deals. And then if you want to go to those other markets, do an expansion fee, not just move a team.
Rick Horrow, thank you for your time today. I hope Dave and I are still on speaking terms next week when he's back after the salvo you've lobbed at him today. But we appreciate your time. I don't know.
Hey, man,
I don't know if it'll be as courteous next week.
Oh wow! All right, yeah, you rack it up and just make sure that you give Wally all the respect he deserves because we may not ever hear from him again.
You got it. A good Wally Pipp reference. Thank you, Rick Horrow. Have a great week. Thank you, man. Rick Horrow on the business of sport and. Some pretty good shots at Dave, wasn't it?
There were some great shots at Dave.
Really do. Clip that and send it to Dave.
I will.
Okay? He will love that. When we come back, you will love what we're going to do, and we want you to be a part of it as well at the AutoZone text line or the AutoZone phone line, 901-360-8255. Get in the zone at AutoZone. 10 players playing today from the NFL. 10 is too many for you. Give us the top 3 or 4 or 5. We know the first 3. I think those are easy. That will be surefire, 100% first ballot in Canton is at 5 years after they retire. I've got my 10. It got tough from 3 on. Bryant has his 10. We want yours at 901-360-8255 at the AutoZone text line. You're listening to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Greg, Gaston, and Eli Savoy take you through lunch from 10 to 1 weekdays. Only on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
No one outfits golfers better than Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been fitting golfers since 1968. Utilizing cutting-edge fitting technology, we'll analyze your swing and our Foresight launch monitors and fit you with the perfect club, pair of shoes, the latest golf apparel, golf balls, bags, and more. So come by today for your complete custom fitting. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Brian Elder's Roofing
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claims specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
I can pop a beer in here, right? Your cousin from Boston. This here is Sam Adams Boston Lager. It's my go-to beer. Not too heavy, not too light. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, that's whoopsie daisy. Oh no. Is there somebody that can help? Come on in the room. It poured right in the keyboard. Relax. I spill beer on my computer all the time. Sam Adams Boston Lager. The Boston Beer Company, Boston, Massachusetts. Drink responsibly.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
Brett, we have to get in the hurry-up, no-huddle offense for our Hall of Famers that are surefire going in. Everybody agree with number one, Tom Brady? You think he's going in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Was that your number one?
That was my number one.
Okay. Number two, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
That's your number two. You go three first.
See, this one was tough.
I didn't think so.
Who'd you put? I want to know who you put first.
Larry Fitzgerald.
He's not on the team, though. He's a free agent.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not with the Cardinals?
I just looked up because I had him on my list, too.
Okay.
And I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a day ago. Larry Fitzgerald is still an option for the Vikings, so it looks like he's a free agent. On his Wikipedia page, it says he's a free agent.
All right, so I got to come up with auxiliary one. So who's yours?
My third, I put him on here, but I think I would take him off. I put Patrick Mahomes. I think eventually he will be. I think if he had a career-ending injury today, he would not be in the Hall of Fame. But I think after 2 more seasons, he'll be in a sure thing.
I think he needs a little more back of the football card.
Yeah.
If it was devastating career-ending today, I don't think he's in.
That's what I'm saying. So I think I would take him off.
All right, 4 for me, Big Ben.
Big Ben right there with you.
5 for me, Aaron Donald.
I have Aaron. See, I didn't go in any order. I have Aaron Donald on my list though.
Patrick Peterson.
I have Patrick Peterson on there.
Russell Wilson.
Russ was one of the. I didn't put him on there, but he was. I had to battle with that one. And now that I'm looking, now that I have Adrian Peterson and Larry Fitzgerald on my list, he'd make it. He'd be on there for sure.
So did you have Frank Gore?
I had Frank Gore too. Yes, that's 3. Yeah,
it's a couple. J.J. Watt.
I have J.J. Watt on there.
Von Miller.
Mm-hmm.
So really very little disagreement. The only thing we're kind of hung up on is the free agency status of a couple. Matt Ryan.
He's another one of the guys. He'd be on there now that those 3 aren't on there.
All right, with Larry Fitzgerald, Frank Gore, and Adrian Peterson off, those excluded, I'm not going to go with Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to go with Julio Jones.
Julio Jones was another one. It was on my could be, but I just didn't put him on there.
If he retired today, just said, I don't want to do it anymore with the Titans, I think he's in.
I think he would be. And I thought I might have an updated list on because I'm really pretty sure that I took Patrick Mahomes off my list. But he's on here.
Fitzgerald catches on. He re-ups with the Cardinals before opening day, doesn't he?
He'll be with somebody. You've got to think.
He's got to retire with the same team, doesn't he?
I would hope so.
I would have thought that maybe not mattered that much to him, but mattered some to him. Another guy that is retired that would have been on it with one more game this year would have been Adam Vinatieri.
Mm-hmm.
And the best cold weather kicker maybe ever.
Yeah. And I have one on my list that you haven't said, and this is a shout out to Gabe Kuhn. I had to put him on there for Gabe Kuhn. Jason Peters, the offensive lineman for the Eagles.
Really good. Played tight end in college in Arkansas.
Yeah, and he's been terrific in the NFL.
He has been, and they've moved him inside, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
But he's still that good. He will. Little bit like Larry Allen, a little bit like Jonathan Ogden. Some of those linemen, they get in easier than some of the wide receivers.
Yeah, and I mean
they separate themselves because it's not as crowded.
Yeah, and Peters, I mean I was looking at it yesterday when I was putting him on my list. I think it's 6 All-Star appearances, 3 or 4 All-Pros. I mean, that's ridiculous for an offensive lineman.
And when he's out is when it really shows up.
Yeah.
Because the Eagles, they would always get really average with him. He was instrumental in that Eagles Super Bowl run and has really been, was a valiant player for them. Von Miller was easy, MVP of a Super Bowl and all that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
He's just filling in back of the football card. I've been rough, and Bo Marchand has as well, on J.J. Watt through the years. Not individually, and that's how you get in Hall of Fames individually, but the team aspect of it. Tell me the biggest win J.J. Watt's been involved in. The Texans just didn't do it there. Now he's out of there.
Yeah. You had J.J. Watt on your list, right?
I did.
Okay, awesome.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did, because it is very much an individual award. It's not how many Super Bowls you've won, because Aaron Donald hadn't done that. But Aaron Donald will stroll in.
Yeah.
He could quit right now, couldn't he?
He could, and he would still he's a monster.
I didn't think it was tough for Russell Wilson to have him on my list.
No, and I think he'll make it. I think that's another one. I mean, the Seahawks, they had some success earlier, but now they just haven't had much success. But he still individually has looked great.
Get a good one from our friend John Varlas, Travis Kelce.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's really good,
John. I can't believe I didn't have that one.
Yeah.
Or either of us had that, really.
That's really good. Kelce strolls in. Tight end a little unclogged.
Mm-hmm.
like wide receiver was. It's loosened up a little bit through the years. Jason Witten will walk in, but he's not active. But Travis Kelce, a good one. His brother, that was probably the drunkest man in Philadelphia during their Super Bowl parade.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Just to wear that outfit he had on that day.
You know what I'm noticing? And I'm trying to remember yours off the top of my head. Do either of us have an active running back on our list?
No, we don't. And we talked about it when I got here back about 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
The running back is not primary anymore.
Mm-mm.
It's unreal, isn't it?
It's incredible, actually. I mean, when we talked about Adrian Peterson, Frank Gore, those are two guys who are right there. They're free agents right now, but just got out of the league. And it just shows how much the NFL game has changed just in a matter of 5-6 years.
How much more in years at just good production, not going over 2K, for Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry. I think 2. A couple. And I'd put him up there.
See, I think Jamal Lewis deserves to be in from yesteryear because of 2K.
Yeah.
Now, 2000 is not going to matter as much with 17 games.
Yeah.
A lot of that will get we will have to refigure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the 1,000-yard rusher, that lost a little of its, just barely over 1,000, lost a little of its pizzazz for me when it went to 16 35 years ago or 40 years ago, 45 years ago when it went to 16 games. I mean, again, second reference of the day to OJ. Went over 2,000 in 14 games.
Yeah. We have a text for Julian Edelman. Would you put him up there?
I would not. I've had this discussion. If there's a Hall of Fame for playoffs, and I go my best Jim Mora, he's in.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you get in just for being a great January player.
Yeah.
And he was that.
He was, yeah.
Some would say that's all that Lynn Swann was, and he got in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I would disagree. We just didn't throw the ball that much, and he had John Stallworth on the other side. But Julian Edelman's a good one. Thank you, Texter, at the AutoZone text line, 901-360-8255. Hit us up there with yours. If you don't have 10, come up with a couple. We'd love to have them get in the zone at the AutoZone text line. Hour number 3 on the way, and we started with my friend Evie Van Pelt. She's with RebelWalk.com. We'll talk Ole Miss, the SEC, and college football expansion. That's next on Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They've raised the bar again at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I like to say this is the new standard, the way car business should be done. And to prove it, out of 355 dealers in America that sell Genesis cars, the one in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, was top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, and number 2 in the district. And guess what? They want to be number 1. That means there are opportunities out there for you. It's the safest, and every new latest bit of technology that makes the experience of driving a car better, they've got it at Genesis of Olive Branch. If we start with the G70, the highest performing car I've ever owned, all the way to the G80 or the G90, the biggest of the sedans, you'll love everything about the car. If you would like to try the new SUV, the GV80, you call Vinny Gerard at 662-890-6684. He will bring it out to you.
Regions Bank presents Brad Paisley live at the Garden Friday night, August 13th at Radiance Amphitheater at Memphis Botanic Garden. Gates open at 6, show starts at 7:30 p.m. with special guests Jimmy Allen and Cameron Marlowe. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster.com. Go to liveatthegarden.com for more information. Also presented by Duncan Williams, AutoZone, Gossett Motors, True Green, Pro Show, and Mahaffey Events.
Stream all your favorites with the Disney Bundle. What did you expect? Disney Plus has Loki and Luca. Hulu has originals like Summer of Soul and Love Victor. And ESPN Plus has exciting UFC matchups and new episodes of Stephen A's World. Sign up at DisneyPlus.com and get the Disney Bundle for $13.99 a month. Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. Get the Disney Bundle today. Includes Hulu ad-supported plan. Terms apply. See DisneyPlus.com for details.
Taqueria Express has a new location at 6290 Winchester with family deals every day. Mouth-watering chicken tacos only 99 cents. 3 tacos with rice, beans, and fresh guacamole, only $6. And incredible signature dishes with chicken or beef chimichangas and homemade tortillas stuffed with fresh beans, rice, and cheese on top. If you're hungry, try Taqueria Express's gigantic Macho Burrito, homemade with fresh flour tortilla, and you choose beef, chicken, pork, or shrimp. Includes beans, rice, melted cheese, lettuce, tomato, and sour cream. Fajita fans try Taqueria's delicious chicken or steak fajitas, big enough for 2 people and only $10. If you're thirsty and want something unique, then try Taqueria drinks made from scratch, like melon and pineapple. Margaritas are buy one, get one free, and they got a little kick to them. For real Mexican food, Taqueria Express, 6290 Winchester. We'll see you guys there, and don't forget those strong margaritas. Buy one, get one free.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
When it comes to tires, auto repair, and car maintenance, Gateway has it all. Gateway Tire and Service Center is here to help you with all your service and tire needs. Choose from Yokohama, Toyo, Firestone, and Michelin. The list goes on and on. We have tires for all your needs and budgets. And when it comes to service, Gateway Tire has the most experienced mechanics and state-of-the-art equipment. Come see us for any repairs, alignment, struts, air conditioner, schedule maintenance, and more, including brakes with a free brake inspection. Then take advantage of the Gateway credit card. Apply today for stress-free financing made easy with no annual fee. Ask about our 6-month deferred interest with any purchase over $149. Go to gatewaytireandservice.com for great deals and coupons. Gateway Tire and Service Center has it all for you and your family.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
It's hot outside and your air conditioner just quit. Quick, who do you call? Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, of course, with 24-hour emergency service available. Automatic understands your house is unique, so they work fast to find the right solution for your family's comfort and budget needs. And with financing available and payments as low as $75 a month, it's never been easier to make your home comfortable. Call 363-4636 or go online to itsautomatic.com. Turn to the experts at Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We welcome you to the third and final hour on this Wednesday afternoon, August 11th, 2021. This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road at 5704 Goodman Road and online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. They're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. You walk in, all the cars, they've been thoroughly examined, test-driven, checked out bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find that perfect car just for you. No shortcuts taken at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales whatsoever. But they care about your time. They want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. And they know we live in a world today that time really matters. That's why you walk in, find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, 45 minutes later, you're gone in your new car. That's a guarantee at DeSoto Auto Sales. They keep it simple at 5704 Goodman Road, online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience you've come to know, love, and trust at DeSoto Auto Sales. Such a special guest we have right now. Nobody covers Ole Miss as well as Evie Van Pelt. I say that, now I know everybody in the Ole Miss world. I'm in the Ole Miss world. She knows the team as well or better than anyone. She is the publisher of the Rebel Walk. She's on Twitter at Ole Miss Evie, and we are glad to have her with us. Evie Van Pelt, you are a sight for sore eyes at SEC Media Days. How are you, my friend?
Oh, my friend, thank you, Brett. You were too, and thank you for always saving me a nice cold Coke. You saved my life there. They seem to be Dr. Pepper people there, I just appreciate you.
They are, Evie. I tell them every year it's like drinking cold cough syrup, so I bring my own stash of Coca-Colas.
Well, you are much appreciated, and thank you so much for those kind words. I feel the exact same way about you.
Well, I mean, how are you and David doing? You ready for football? We're ready for a real normal season?
Oh, my goodness, I'm ready for a real normal season. I can hardly wait. I mean, I was fortunate to get to be there Monday for the start of fall camp
for
and
Media Day.
Ole Miss Media Day, and I got to tell you, I was so excited I could have run some drills myself out there, although nobody would want to see that, but I could have.
Well, last year could have used you on defense a time or two.
Oh yeah, bless their hearts. They had a little bit of struggles last year, but I'm really optimistic. I thought it was the best. I guess it was the second day. It's the first day media got to see, but it was the best second day of camp I've seen. I just thought they looked like the majority of guys were in great shape. Better than those of us on the media who were just standing there out in the heat and barely being able to do that.
And the defense needs reinforcements, and it appears that they have them, but also some of the returning players. I think critical to the defense is a healthy, being able to be out there every time you need to count on him, Trick Tisdale.
Oh, my goodness. I totally agree with you. He looked good to me. Tarikius looked like, now that he's healthy, I know he had a broken arm last year, I believe it was, and he looks he definitely looked imposing to me out there. He obviously is he's out there at nose tackle when I was watching, and just looked really solid. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, of course, Wilson Love, the trainer's out there, and he's just getting everybody fired up, but definitely Tisdale's going to be really, really important piece of the defensive puzzle. And another player, defensive end Cedric Johnson, has been doing very well. In fact, I think they mentioned him in the press conferences this week, talking about the excellent work he's done. So that's good to see him getting some good work.
The easiest way to make that secondary better is to have a much better push up front. The 7 in front of the secondary last year, particularly the defensive line, I thought it was an okay year for the linebacking core last year, and it's only buttressed by the Maryland transfer and the Navy transfer. But that defensive line will make it a lot easier for A.J. Finley and Otis Reese and players in that Ole Miss secondary, because you can't cover these guys all day, and they had all day to get open last year.
They sure did, and I think that's been it was interesting the way we got to hear yesterday from DJ Durkin. And I think that, and Chris Partridge, the co-defensive coordinators, and, they talked about that. And it was funny because DJ Durkin, his approach to it is last year was last year and we need to move on. Mm-hmm. And Partridge's approach was we need to own that. We eat, sleep, and breathe how terrible we were last year. And we own it, and we want to, we don't want to feel that way anymore. And I think the defensive line, obviously, like you say, is just such a huge component of things. And I think, honestly, what I saw from the new guys, the JUCO transfers, Isaiah Eiton and Jamon Gordon, I think once they get everything figured out, I think they're going to be great. Tywan Malone, the freshman, has had a injury he's been dealing with. Nothing. I think it's a knee injury he suffered in high school. So they're just taking it kind of easy with him. But my goodness, I made certain to find him Monday and check him out. And he's another really big fella. And I think that was kind of, something I felt like in a lot of the games last year. I just felt like our defensive line we just didn't even look physically as big as some of the people we were playing against.
And so, I had a different perspective last year because of the COVID year. Pregame, we were not in the Grove. We were in the south end zone in that fan area that you can mix and mingle in. And so I watched all of the home games from field level, and it stunned me that how unphysical, the really lack of aggression on the Ole Miss defense. But it also stunned me at that level how really they were big and they were pretty, but Florida wasn't that physical. And on the night I saw them, now they got better from that point on. Even Alabama was not the old Alabama nasty.
Right. Right. And, I don't know. It's interesting now that you bring that up. That is kind of true. I think that maybe, I think last year was just so weird. I think so many would just like to forget last year. It was just the strangest year, and the not having any fans, and that was just really, really odd. so maybe we'll see a completely different, God willing, completely different 2021. But I'm really excited about the defense. I mean, I know, it's funny. I think Lakia Henry told us today he thought that they were going to be the best defense in the SEC, if not the country. So I'm like, well, he's setting his sights high, and good for him. But I think, honestly, I feel like there's just a different attitude about the defense from the defensive players. It seems to me more and more what I'm seeing on both sides of the ball is there's a level of player accountability that I don't know that I've really kind of heard.
That's the best locker room to have.
Right. They are really all holding one another accountable. And I think, it's interesting, and I'm jumping all over the map here, offense, defense, whatever, but I know Nick Broker today commented that the difference in Corral from last year to this year, he said he was really good last year. He said, but that being said, he's light years ahead this year because it's the mental side of it. He said he is literally in this building 24/7, and it's about what you're doing, letting your actions speak for you rather than just saying words. And he said, and it makes me want to be here 24/7. So I can do all I can to protect him.
I think Ole Miss is very lucky to have Matt Corral, especially off of the coaching malfeasance and malpractice that I thought he had under Phil Longo and Rich Rodriguez. Phil Longo didn't know he was on the team. All Phil Longo could concentrate on was Shay. He didn't know he had Jordan Tiamu either. And then Rich Rodriguez that one year and the disaster that it was. Matt Corral could have transferred and nobody would have blamed him.
Yes, and you know what? That's something that I think about a lot and that David and I talk about a lot, is that in this day and age where players transfer, and of course this was before they could transfer and not have to sit out a year, but even so, the way you describe it, malfeasance is a very, very good word, and I think that people need to
if they were lawyers, they'd be disbarred.
Yes, absolutely. And I just, you hit the nail on the head. That kid stuck around, and he will always forever be one of my favorites because I feel like we think we know what he endured. I bet we don't even know a drop in the bucket.
And a long way from home, Evie. I mean, the champion, he could have said, look, I'm going to Cal or USC or UCLA or somewhere, somewhere with at least 2 time zones from home.
Yes. And I just, again, I mean, my daughter played volleyball at Ole Miss back in the day and lived 800 miles, went 800 miles from home. And it was tough. It was tough her freshman year. I mean, it was tough, much less with all that, like you say, that Corral's going through a long way from home. And so to me, I think he's got to be probably, I can't imagine there would be a mentally tougher quarterback out there in the country, frankly.
So another guy that kind of saw some action at quarterback in the past couple of years, John Rice Plumlee. He saw some action at slot in that bowl game last year. Is he going to see more time out at slot, and how big of a factor can he play in that role?
Oh my goodness, let me tell you, that kid shines wherever he is. It's funny, watching practice Monday out there on the field. It's like he's got some sort of energy about him. I don't know what it is, but he definitely, he was running with the ones, playing slot, and you just would never know that he hadn't played it all his life. I mean, it's the darndest thing, and I don't know whether it's athlete. Yes, I think that's what I was going to say. I think if he has such tremendous athletic ability that I think if he ever does make a mistake, he can make up for it with his athleticism. But
they say he's a round scratch golfer, that his dad's a really good golfer. We know John Rice, excellent high school and even college baseball player, and can run so well. But he's mostly dedicated to playing in that slot. I don't think unless it's a gadget play, I don't think he'll be in there at quarterback. I think backup right now would be designated for Kincaid Dent.
I think so too, and I think that that is one thing Kiffin said Monday about John Rice, is that he's not over there working out with the quarterbacks. He said that wouldn't be fair to him. I mean, he needs to get his time in at the slot, and
it's hard enough.
Yeah, and Matt Corral commented Monday. He said, before you saw how good he was in the Outback Bowl, and he said, and that was, he'd been practicing for 5 days.
Wouldn't have won it without him.
Yeah, I totally agree. We would not have won that game without him. And he said the difference is now he's got footwork. He said he not only has all the skills that he brings to the table, but now he's got some footwork at the slot. So that's going to be fun to watch.
All right, Evie, we've been very positive. Let me play the other side. And this is what I hear from a lot of my friends. And I have a little of this inhibition and skepticism about this year. Opening night against Louisville, Monday night, Labor Day night, 5 o'clock pregame on these very airwaves, leading into the 7 o'clock kickoff from Mercedes-Benz Stadium down in Atlanta. I know it wasn't opening night, but so much, 25th ranked yesterday, not even anywhere close to as highly ranked on this night I'm bringing up. But some people have said, doesn't it feel a little bit like that South Carolina game on that Thursday night in 2009?
Oh, boy, why'd you have to go there? Yeah, you know what's funny, though? I feel like I saw that I don't know if it's the opening line, but I saw a line today where Ole Miss is an 8.5-point favorite.
Been pretty consistent all summer with that.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting, and I think
that night at South Carolina was 5-point favorite.
Was it? Okay,
Yeah.
That's what I was just going to ask you. I couldn't recall what it was. I don't know. I think I would tend to perhaps worry about that, but for some reason, Brett, there is just something about this team right now, and I can't put my finger on it. It's not just chemistry, cohesiveness. I think there seems to be a determination. Not that every year they aren't determined, but I'm just hearing things from the coaches and the players, and especially the coaches, because these coaches that we have, they don't just, blow a bunch of smoke up your skirt. That's not Kiffin, and that's not his coordinators. And at least offensively,
they are very direct. I love it. I told Coach Kiffin last fall. I said, I love that he's not selling. He's not selling sunshine. He's telling us where it hurts.
Right. He's not pumping sunshine. And I mean, Kiffin will be the first one to tell you, well, Corral needs to be more consistent, he's not even out there just saying, oh, he's the best QB in the country. I mean, he will be clear with you on the things that he needs to work on, but he will also be very clear that he has been the hardest worker and the most dedicated one inside that football building. And so I think that, as Lebby said today, it all starts with your trigger man. And he's our trigger man and is, leading in a way that he didn't lead last year. So I just feel like that there are some kids stepping up on offense. And then I think there are some on defense that are going to step up, not only with their play, but I think with some leadership out there.
Bryant and I talked earlier in this show today. There's a pretty wide trading range for Ole Miss wins. You could go as low as 6-6, and you could go as high as 9-3. Here's another part of the playing the other side. Every Ole Miss fan I know, including myself, and I'm in that 8-9 range. I'm not going to go above 9, and I wouldn't go below 7, but I could see where it would happen. But everybody just counting that 4 non-conference games, Louisville, Austin Peay, Tulane, and Liberty as 4-0. 3 of those 4 teams are really good teams, Louisville, Tulane, and Liberty.
Right. I was going to say, this is not, we're not playing, no offense, but this isn't Prairie View, or something. So, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm not so sure that Liberty game won't be the toughest one. I mean, they've got a really good quarterback.
Willie Fritz and his program from Tulane.
Yes.
Louisville opening night, 8.5-point favorite. We've all, in the Ole Miss world, everybody's marked it a W before we even made the trip to Atlanta. That's a lot of motivation for U of L.
Hope our players haven't done that. I would have to believe, again, I think I've just been really impressed with the way Kiffin handles this program and handles this team. And honestly, take a look at Kiffin these days. I tweeted the other day something about a spelt Lane Kiffin, and frankly, he is. And he told us, he said, I just couldn't ask my players to take accountability for their bodies and being stronger and faster and eating better. And when I looked like that, he said, I didn't even want to look at myself in the mirror. And he said, so I'm really proud because he's obviously dropped, 30 pounds or so. So it's just interesting to me. I just think that there's a lot of commitment there, and I can't imagine they would go into that Louisville game taking it as lightly as a lot of the fans do, which you're definitely right about that.
Any chance he's lost enough weight that they may not recognize him October 9th when he walks into Neyland Stadium? I'm sorry, October 16th?
You know, I don't think I don't think there's a case of that, but
they'll find him.
interestingly, you know, what's funny is at practice Monday, you know, they're real particular. You can't video only, but just a certain time, you know, when
I'm
they're
scared to show up on my
stretching.
phone.
Right. Well, I tell you what, at one point, they were out on the field working out, and it was not a video period. And they started playing Rocky Top, and I couldn't help but pull my camera out and kind of just video just a little bit, nothing important, but just because I'm like, Rocky Top was blaring, and I just thought that was the funniest thing. I don't know if that's Lane Kiffin trolling Tennessee, which it did get out that that's what they were playing, or if it's just, let me get you guys ready for what you're going to hear. I don't know, but it was pretty funny.
We will hear a lot of that October 16th when Ole Miss goes to Knoxville for the first time since the 2010 season. I think that was a November game. Hadn't been to Knoxville since 2010. And got blasted that day by Tyler Bray and the Tennessee Vols. Where are you on wins and losses? Have you gone hard and fast on what you think the left-hand column will look like?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I think that I kind of fall in line with you. I'm on the upper end, though. I mean, I'm thinking 9 wins. I'm just, you know,
Sign
but
me
people. I'm a Pollyanna, so there you go. But maybe it's just that I'm so excited and my enthusiasm is getting the better of me. But I look at what we've got coming back and the experience we've got and the coaching staff we've got, and just kind of eyeballing everybody out there thus far. They are so far ahead of where it seems like they've been in the past. And just like we talked about at SEC Media Days, just the fact that they had a spring, you know, to kind of work on things. I don't know. I think I would not be surprised if they finished at the end of the season and had 9 wins.
I think I saw something the other day that Ole Miss football is 100% vaccinated. What, how big of an, you know, priority did Lane Kiffin kind of make that to his team?
You know, it's really interesting. At SEC Media Days, we were nowhere near that. I want to say we were under 60%, probably.
Wow.
Kiffin wouldn't give any numbers. I do believe Keith Carter gave a number just a couple of weeks ago of 60%. So that's a huge jump. I know that Kiffin was kind of, you know, some coaches, I mean, Kiffin will talk about a lot, but I think things like that, you know, whether it's HIPAA regulations or whether it's just that's personal, private, medical, whatever, he didn't want to talk about it as much. Matt Corral had no problem talking about it. We had a little private breakaway.
That's no HIPAA violation when the person talks about it.
Right. So Matt had no problem talking about it. But what he said is, I understand everybody is, you know, people come from all different backgrounds. Some families have really strong feelings about it one way or another, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm going to be talking to all our players. You know, at the end of the day, do you want to actually have it come down to we have to forfeit a game? Because that's right after Sankey said, you know, Commissioner Sankey said that no replay, you just forfeit if you're unable to field the right numbers because of COVID. So,
do you think we have a forfeit this year in SEC, Evie? I hope not. I don't want to win that way, and I sure don't want to lose that way.
I agree. You know what, Brett? I think last year has gotten me to where I keep saying nothing would surprise me. I mean, really, nothing would surprise me.
Alien invasion on a Saturday afternoon.
Alien invasion. I do think, though, that the fact that Ole Miss was the first and only team that I know of that's 100% vaccinated. I mean, again, I think that just speaks to how much team is going on with that team. Yeah, they have very, very much bought in.
It started at the bowl game. I'm telling you, after the bowl game, back at the hotel, Coach Kiffin, the staff, y'all have a good time all you want. And then when we get back to Oxford, this ends 5-5's good for this year, but it's not that special. No coffee table books made over 5-5. He was the leader of that. And there have been times in the past, both Ole Miss coaches and others, you know, selling that as something special, and he wouldn't do it. He said it was improvement, it was good, but there's a lot better than that.
Right, and you know what? That reminds me of when we played Alabama last year, and after getting shellacked the year before and then playing last year and having it really come down to just, maybe one more defensive stop was the difference in the game. And he could have easily sold that as, look at how we're turning things around. And he made no bones about it. That is not, we don't take moral victories. We didn't win the game, so there's nothing to celebrate here. And I appreciate that mentality because,
I do
again,
too. Don't insult my intelligence and tell me you give up 63 and you really won.
Yeah,
because we know better, and he doesn't do it. I love the candor that he has, the honest approach. Evie, I've loved it. I've always enjoyed visiting. You loved it today, and we'll do it a bunch during football season. You stay safe and stay cool and stay well until we get to Atlanta Labor Day night.
Can't wait. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Evie Van Pelt with us. And always fun to catch up with her. She's at rebelwalk.com, covers Ole Miss so well, and you hear the passion that she has. It's a fan site. It is we to her, and that's the way the fan sites are.
Yeah, and I was really surprised when I saw that their football team is 100% vaccinated. I think y'all hit it right, the hammer on the head. That team is so bought in right now, and I think that a lot of credit is to Lane Kiffin.
It's a really good esprit de corps and a feel around the program. And coming out of the NCAA stuff, Matt Luke took over just one of the tough assignments of all time, coming in after that success that Coach Freeze had enjoyed, and then the sanctions and the controversy and everything that went with that, and then today to see what Baylor got over the allegations around Baylor compared to the stuff at Ole Miss, it's still infuriating, but I can't lose brain power over that because it's not going to change anything.
No.
Everything that happened. There's nothing that can be changed. But Lane Kiffin has really changed that atmosphere there. Now for Ole Miss, those 4 non-conference games, Austin Peay, FCS, that will be the lesser of the games. But Louisville, Tulane, and Liberty, just everybody counting those as automatic W's in any. As 4-0 non-conference heading into the conference part of the schedule. I think people need to be careful with that because there could be one of those that's more than a toe stubber. I mean, it could be a loss opening night, and wouldn't that be quite the humbler and quite the sobering up effect for Ole Miss? That was the part about it. It could feel a little bit like that South Carolina game. But that South Carolina game was up in September. That was 3rd or 4th game. I think that might even been the last Thursday in September that night in 2009 when Ole Miss went out on the field ranked 4th that night. When we come back, we'll catch up on everything else from around sports and what's trending. We'll wrap it up about 5:45 with Taco Bell Crunch Time. You're listening to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Nothing's worse than starting trouble. Well, we can help you out. We can start with a free battery test. That way, we'll know if your battery is causing the issue. It could be your starter, it could be your alternator, and you don't want to waste money on the wrong fix. And if you do need a new battery, we've got you covered with a wide selection of replacement batteries. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2020.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
I can pop a beer in here, right? Your cousin from Boston. This here is Sam Adams Boston Lager. It's my go-to beer. Not too heavy, not too light. Oh boy. Oh, that's whoopsie daisy. Oh no. Is there somebody that can help? Come on in the room. It poured right in the keyboard. Relax. I spill beer on my computer all the time. Sam Adams Boston Lager. The Boston Beer Company, Boston, Massachusetts. Drink responsibly.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging. From the stunning interior, complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Hi, Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Did you really think I didn't know Henderson State and their rival Ouachita Baptist?
I'm shocked. Nobody knows about them.
You know, that rivalry in Arkadelphia, Arkansas, when they play each other, the contempt, the good old-fashioned sports hate is so much, the visitor dresses at their locker room and walks over to the other
Walks
stadium.
across the street, has the band blocking off traffic, and they just walk on over.
Henderson State and OBU, a good friend of mine is the voice of Ouachita Baptist, loves it.
Really?
He's done it forever, Arkadelphia native, Rex Nelson, and we will have him on during college football season to talk historical aspect of probably the week of the Arkansas-Texas game. For sure we'll have him that week to visit about that because he's just a genius. He knows it all. And he does OBU football and has forever, and they affectionately call it the Little Iron Bowl. It is that big. It shuts the town down.
Oh, yeah.
When they play. Bryant Dacus with me this afternoon. We're with you until 6 o'clock. You can be a part of this show at the AutoZone phone line or the AutoZone text line at 901-360-8255. Get in the zone at AutoZone at our text line or at our phone line. We mentioned the Baylor punishment, but they were punished, but not for the sexual assault issues. The NCAA gave them an out. I don't know if Art Briles ever coaches again. If you read through the case, I don't see how he can. I don't know how Ken Starr could ever work again either. That was my worst James Carville imitation of doing a Ken Starr. And he probably doesn't want to be a chancellor, president, academician at that level again. And if I'm anybody out there facing NCAA inquiry right now, like the Tigers are with the IARP, how would you like to be the last person really hit?
Yeah. It's just what happened today with Baylor is insane.
It's negligence of the highest order.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not lack of institutional control, you never should have had that verbiage.
No, and it's to the point where I'm going to use Memphis as a comparison of what's happened with James Wiseman. Mm-hmm. You didn't see any coaching changes, we're firing people from the top up, we're changing everything because this is so bad that what happened. You saw that at Baylor. That happened.
House cleaned.
Everybody
but Scott Drew.
Exactly.
Who some here said he was shaky and it was such irresponsible when they did it here. And he's never had a fingerprint on anything there.
Yeah. And it blows my mind that you can have something like that where it was the biggest story for months. Everybody was talking about it. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? This is terrible for the sport. This is terrible for college athletics. And then they get a little slap on the wrist.
Yeah. At Baylor and no allegations around men's basketball, around Scott Drew, the national champion, and all those around Art Briles. Baylor may not be the same. Matt Rule did a good job trying to resurrect it, but he got out of there. Now Dave Miranda, and now the conference realignment question around Baylor. Yeah. I don't know that Baylor ever ascends to that. Mm-hmm. That was their best football moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So the Tigers in front of the IARP, they couldn't do this. You wouldn't dare do it, and I was wrong on that Friday afternoon saying play him, when the NCAA declares an ineligible player, until he gets the clearance, you don't do it. But that Friday afternoon in the heat of the moment,
you weren't the only one.
Emotion play him. Everybody loved it that Friday night. Everybody loves being a part of the protest until the other side starts fighting back.
Yeah, and I think hindsight's 20/20. I think we all are sitting here, oh, you shouldn't have played him. You should have just waited, seen what you can done. It was, who did they play? South Carolina State?
No, that was in the game before. That was the Tuesday night game. Who was
they
that?
It was somebody. It was a no-name team.
We're going to win by 20 with or without him.
And so, but in that moment, I think everybody was saying, play him. Go ahead and play him. So I wouldn't feel too bad about it.
It was barbarians at the gate. It was rage against the machine, and everybody loves the protest until the other side fights back, and the other side is now still fighting back. But if you're out there under the rubric of the NCAA, why wouldn't you do this? If they've told you in the media guide to call a win a loss, like the 38-2 year, we know the Tigers went 38-2 that year. Well, who was the team? Maybe Siena. And, that's not UCLA or Indiana, but Siena often is that bid out of that one bid league. I think they went to the tournament that year, and the Tigers just mauled them. Siena couldn't get the ball to the top of the circle in their offensive end, and have to call that a loss.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
At Ole Miss to call the wins in 14 and 15. I wish somebody out there. I wish it would be somebody else. I don't want Ole Miss doing it. I don't want the Tigers trying to do it because kind of enough damage there. But somebody else. We're putting banners back up. We're not going to call wins on the field anymore a loss. It's hard to sort through some of the dang media guides now. I told you yesterday, one of the great things about a good site that everybody knows about, Winsipedia, is they don't recognize forfeitures. Yeah. They go with what happened on the field because now on game day. I'm having to look at a couple italics and asterisks. It really was a win, but we got to call it a loss. I wish people would quit doing that.
Yeah. My thing
take
is
that NCAA.
Take that NCAA. My thing is I think when you're talking about the IARP, when you've waited so long to come down on a ruling, very little of what was there that year is going to be there when you rule down anywhere. I'm not just talking about Memphis. I'm talking about any of these things. They take way too long to do it. If you're going to make a decision, just do it when it happens.
Yeah, they have to be paid by the hour. Just the ineptness and how slow they are. And look how they dragged it out for Baylor. Now, what that does, and it happened at Ole Miss, is as long as that investigation is even going on, never mind when you finally get the sanctions, that investigation. That is carbon monoxide coming under the door. It's killing you, and you know it. But until the sanctions are finally leveled, just all those rumors, because your rivals, wherever it is, whatever sport it is, and everybody. That's the thing about it. When you're in trouble in college football, when you're the one kind of under the microscope, there are 129 teams calling you a cheater.
Yep, absolutely.
In college basketball, there's 357 calling you a cheater. And that's what was really sad and tough on me at Ole Miss when Ole Miss was under that scrutiny. And, again, there were no bags of cash. If you don't believe me, go to the NCAA website and read the ruling. The total money allotment was peanuts. There was no bags of cash. There wasn't. I know people want it to be. And I know some on both sides that boasted about it being. There wasn't. But anyway, what infuriated me during the moment is basically the NCAA said this for Tiger basketball too, through the years with, I think, some onerous decisions on Memphis that others wouldn't have gotten. If you lose, you're a loser. If you win, you cheated.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's not very much fun to live in that world.
No. Like you said, wins are wins, losses are losses. It's gotten so hard, like you said, to just have to look back and this season was vacated, this game was vacated, he coach didn't play or coach that game, so would they have won if they had their coach? It's just a lot.
Would you put the banners back up at FedEx Forum on Tiger game nights? They come down for Grizzlies games and kind of redecorate the arena, as we know through the years. On a Grizzly night, the arena looks and feels very differently than on a Tiger night. Would you put them back up?
I'd put them back up. And I mean, when you look at it now, kids aren't even having to take the ACT anymore, or the SAT, whichever it was.
Do they even have the clearinghouse?
I don't know. I know they started not making them take the ACT last year because of COVID. So when you look at it, a lot of the kids that are playing right now, that are freshmen right now, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, any sport, some of those kids didn't take the ACT. Are we going to say in a couple of years, well, they're ineligible because they didn't take the ACT? I just think, yes, you need to have rules and you need to have everything, but he's not taking steroids or anything. He didn't take his ACT.
Yeah, it was so misguided, I thought, at the time, especially going through their clearinghouse, their established entity to document all those things, and then all that entails, and the slow death, that carbon monoxide of everybody around the country. Yeah, you're a bunch of cheaters when that wasn't and is not the case. But right now in the college sports world, wild west.
Oh yeah, and it's all legal now.
It's not even any pretense around it.
No, and the funniest thing that has come about it, and we've talked about it before with NIL, how just every state is kind of a little different, and nobody really knows. Well, when are you supposed to stop? What are you supposed to be able to say?
Well, all the southern states, the SEC footprint, all trying to be a little more business friendly, conducive to whatever will help state you do well.
Yeah, but it's just, you get onto Twitter, you get onto some of these websites and read these articles, and they're saying, well, that team can't do that. That coach can't go say that to that kid. That that business can't do that. Who knows? Everybody's doing everything to try to get these kids NIL deals.
Nick Saban asked today if he's ever been close to being pushed to being on Twitter or active on social media. His answer, quote, "I've tried to focus on two things here. How do we develop our players, and how do we bring players to our team, whether it's how we evaluate them or how we develop relationships to be able to recruit them here. And so far, that's worked okay." I'm going to stop at that point of the quote. It's worked really well. Continuing the quote, if any of you out there can convince me that me having a Twitter account is going to help us do better in either one of those things, then I might consider it. Otherwise, I don't know why I'd consider doing it.
That's a great answer.
I think he's made it work out just fine. All right. So the hype, the no longer being a dark horse for Ole Miss, I think that's out there. Nobody's picking one in the West. I don't think I got close to it. I don't think Evie got close to it. You're not close to it.
No.
Third in the West would be a big win.
Yeah.
Bama, LSU, A&M. Two of those will be ahead of Ole Miss. See if all three can be. They go to Alabama. They have LSU at home, and they have Texas A&M at home. I've talked about Missouri in the East as the dark horse team. Are they getting enough traction? Are they getting love? Because here's what I love about them: their schedule: Central Michigan, Kentucky, Southeast Missouri, Boston College, Tennessee, North Texas. They could start 6-0.
Yeah. That Central Michigan game will be a tough test to open the season, but
that's against Jim McElwain too.
Yeah, but I like them as a dark horse. I think when you're looking at dark horses out of the SEC, I think that's the biggest dark horse.
Missouri with the new athletics director, very impressive resume for her, and they need some consistency in that athletics department. It's kind of been all over the place really since they've joined the SEC. Tennessee's nobody's dark horse, are they?
No.
We'll be fortunate to get bowl eligible.
I think so. Yeah.
Speaking of bowls, did you see very often, regular guest on middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy, Jerry Palm, with his first bowl projections, I think, of the year today, with the Tigers playing Virginia. In what bowl was it? That'd be fun to play.
That would be really fun
to play Virginia.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember the Tigers playing Virginia. They played them in the NCAA tournament in basketball, but I don't ever remember a football game against Virginia. What bowl was it? Did you see it earlier today?
I did not see that, no.
And Jerry Palm had 11 from the SEC, 11 out of 14. Who's going to be the first SEC guy? Please don't say me because I'm not going to do it. Who's going to be the first SEC guy to count OU and Texas as SEC at bowl time?
It'll be somebody.
It'll be somebody. But Jerry Palm had 11 from the SEC. The only 3 he didn't have in a bowl game, he didn't have Arkansas, he didn't have Vanderbilt, and he didn't have South Carolina. He had Tennessee in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Oh, wow. That'd be a really good get for the Liberty Bowl.
Tennessee hadn't been here in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl since 1986, and I think 3-0 all-time, one in 71, 74, and in 86. Was it another AutoZone Liberty Bowl in there? I don't think so. One in 71 over Arkansas, 74 over Maryland, and 86 over Minnesota. So it's been a long time. That would be a lot of fun and would be sold out the day Steve and Harold put the tickets up for sale.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, the Liberty Bowl would be packed for a Tennessee AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Doggone it, I can't find that Jerry Palm story that had the Tigers in Virginia in the bowl. I can't find
I've got
the
it.
bowl.
Let me figure out where they're at. But I think I have the article pulled up.
I know I'm getting close too, but I just couldn't find it. I should have had it. I should have had it closer to me today. 901-360-8255 at the AutoZone text line and the AutoZone phone line. We would love for you to join us, but we're getting ready to head into our final segment. We'll find that bowl game, and we'll announce that when we come back from the break. But we go to break, and then when we come back, we have Taco Bell Crunch Time. That's up next on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane comes your way every weekday morning from 7 till 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
With the help of Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond, I get everyone's morning started with a smile. It has a delicious and hearty combination of the Cheerios you love, whole grain oats, and sliced almonds for an extra crunchy crunch. That's how I set the rhythm for a great day. Look for Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond in your local grocery store.
To make your day.
Memphis's hometown airline, Southern Airways, is offering a sizzling summer deal. For this July only, flights from Memphis to Harrison-Branson, Hot Springs, and El Dorado, Arkansas have a promotional fare starting at just $19. Fly over the interstate traffic and bypass the bridge delays on one of Southern's flights to Arkansas. Catch a concert in El Dorado, hit the lake in Hot Springs, or fly to Harrison and make the easy drive to Branson or even to Fayetteville. Flying Southern is easy with no TSA screening hassles and free parking at Signature Flight Support. Don't forget, Southern service to Destin has returned for its 9th summer season. So if you're planning a trip to the Emerald Coast, visit iflysouthern.com to reserve your seats today.
At Southern Airways.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Sunrise Buick GMC is having their annual tent sale and the selection or savings are bigger than ever. A huge selection to choose from, big discounts from factory rebates high as $6,000. It's okay if you've got slow credit. Sunrise has over $500 million available for immediate financing with interest low as 0%. An $18 million used car inventory. And remember, Sunrise specializes in cars and trucks under $10,000. See them all at sunrisememphis.com. Savings and fun for all ages. The 33rd annual tent sale going on now at all Sunrise locations. Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, then we hit fame. Too easy with the deal, we get insane. Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Looking for something new at Taco Bell? Try the original tacos meets the instant classic, nacho fries. There's bound to be some magic. Nacho fries are essentially building blocks for culinary imagination. Slightly seasoned. Nah, go with bold spices. Warm nacho cheese and sour cream. Loaded taco fries are covered with seasoned beef, nacho cheese sauce, ranch, tomato, and shredded cheese. In short, the legend of nacho fries lives on.
Brian, I learned today that Tom Brady is already the greatest Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I think that took TJ by surprise, but he mostly agreed with me. Even after 1 year, he can't do anything but help that legacy this year. If he wins it again, it's set. If he goes 2 for 2 with the Buccaneers, I've said it for a couple years now, it'd be fun for the sport. Waive the 5 years. Put him in Canton as an active player.
I completely agree. That'd be tough, but I completely agree. I learned 2 things today. First, I just found out that Jerry Palms, he has Memphis playing Virginia in the Fenway Bowl, which I think would be a ton of fun.
Inaugural Fenway Bowl.
Yes.
How much fun would that be? Would you go?
Oh, yeah. I've never been to Fenway Park, so I would definitely want to go. Second thing I learned, J.R. Smith, NBA veteran.
Shirtless?
Might be, but he might be shirtless on a golf course because he is looking to join the North Carolina A&T golf team. He has
eligibility.
He has eligibility. He never went to college. He went straight to the NBA.
Okay,
he is going back. He enrolled in school to take college courses, and he's trying to get added to their golf team. This is what he said. This is what they said about him.
Is he bankrolling the program?
I hope so. He should be getting a bunch of NIL deals. But after 12 years in the NFL, he took out on golf 12 years ago, and August 12th. Is when classes begin at North Carolina A&T, and all he's got to do is get through NCAA compliance, and he'll be on their golf team.
What a story.
Yeah.
So he can go back, but he can't play basketball.
No.
But he could play football, and he's going to try to play golf.
It looks like he'll play golf.
What a story. JR, I didn't see that one coming today either. Could have done without. Did I see yesterday in Summer League games, Jalen Green talking some stuff to Cade Cunningham and vice versa at the bleeping Summer League? Did I see trash talk in the Summer League? Really? Please tell me I didn't. Please tell me I didn't see trash talk at glorified Bluff City Classic games. That's about all it is. You can call them Grizzlies and Knicks and Spurs and Heat, but they're not.
Yeah, it's interesting. But Summer League, it's getting bigger. You're not a big fan of Summer League. It's getting bigger.
What's your total watch time so far, Summer League?
I've watched probably 5 or 6 games.
Oh, games?
Yeah, I'll sit there.
2-hour games?
And they're not that long because it's running clock, but it's about an hour and a half. Yeah, it's not
Am I
super
showing
long.
how much I've watched?
You're definitely showing.
I'm holding on 0 seconds.
I love it. I like seeing the
I'm going to be holding on 0 seconds of Summer League for the rest of time.
Wow. What I could have done without, obviously, the whole Baylor incident, I could have done without that. But what I could have really done without is a Virginia Union freshman football player. He died in practice. Yeah, it's just so sad to see every year. It's these conditionings, hot weather, just really sad story.
Yeah, and it does happen every year. Sure, don't want to diminish anyone because that's year one.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to hear anybody go, yeah, it's one, but it does happen every year. in the heat. We don't know about the conditions, the comorbidity, or heart defect or anything like that. But happened to Corey Stringer, and the NFL really changed a lot of things. I mean, that was kind of the end of 2-a-days or 3-a-days back then. I'm so glad college and football as a sport got away from that 2-a-day, no water is a reward mentality. That was goofy a long time ago, and you can't get close to having that. Very, very sad.
Very sad.
It's a tough sport, but you don't want to see that. Keeping a close eye tonight on NFL contract news. Jamal Adams has never met a contract he likes, does he?
No, he is not.
Was always unhappy in New York. He's been unhappy with his contract in Seattle, and I hate it for him because there would have been a time that he would have stood out as a more important player in a more defensive era in the NFL. Now, defense is not that important.
No.
Also, keep an eye on Dak's shoulder. Are you officially on worried watch with Dak's shoulder?
I don't know. I want to say no, but he's starting to ramp it up, throw him more. I want to wait a couple of days, see how he kind of looks once he gets really into it, and then I'll let you know how I'm sounding.
What are you watching tonight?
What I'm watching, obviously some baseball, but I'm going to keep on looking at Imani Bates, what his crystal balls are saying. I mean, we've had a couple come in throughout the day. We'll see if some more come, and maybe, just maybe, we could get an announcement day soon.
You think he's picked up any Tiger Twitter followers?
Oh, has he? It's the only thing I see on Memphis basketball Twitter nowadays.
And now every person's kind of their official news agency, aren't they? TJ Reeves used to joke about Tiger, the Tiger Woods news bureau, because all of his big announcements he controlled.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. Now I like the intrepid reporters that still get it, but it doesn't feel like he's going to leak it to a soul.
No.
Well, he's going to let it fly, or as the cool kids say, drop when he's when he's ready.
There
for
you
it.
go.
I'm trying. Speaking of cool, I'm going to keep an eye on the A's and the Guardians tonight in Cleveland. Yeah, that's the name of a real Major League Baseball team and not an AAF football team, the Guardians. And the A's will play tonight. Rays and the Red Sox at Fenway. No football game going on there tonight, but a very important AL East battle. And A.J. Hinch, I talked about Dusty Baker earlier and the great job, managerial job he's done. What about A.J. Hinch taking over the Detroit Tigers? Not a lot there. They're only 500.
Yeah.
That's better than the Cardinals at 500.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, that was a mess just 2 years ago. And he's really come in there, like I talked about Ole Miss buying in. They're really buying in up there in Detroit.
They have for A.J. Hinch, and great manager with the Astros, but he had to go on all the video stuff, and he was sacrificed. Cora was sacrificed. He was back the next year, and it's paying dividends for the Red Sox. Great news today on the Tiger football front with Tevin Carter. He's committed to sign with the Tigers, number 17 overall player in the state of Tennessee, number 2 quarterback in the state of Tennessee, number 1 player in West Tennessee in Shelby County, and that has the Tigers at 67 at Rivals, but we'll move up as they sign more and add to that class. We want to thank TJ Reeves, always with us on Wednesday. Same for John Goin, always with us on Wednesday. Rick Haro, ditto, on the business of sport, and the salvo he laid on Dave. I don't know if Dave's really going to like it, but we want to thank Rick Haro for joining us good-naturedly, as he always does. Evie Van Pelt, thank you so much. Talking Ole Miss football. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. For Dave in his absence, for Bryant, I'm Brett. Talk to you tomorrow at 3.
Grind City Brewing Company is taking care of beerness in Memphis. Grind City Brewing is the dream of a father and son duo to create a brand that delivers a high quality, great tasting, and easy drinking craft beer. And they've done it. The brewery sits high above the